Hello, and welcome to the Dusty Love Connection, where we explore the dusty, derelict, and downright dysfunctional dating habits of the most unproductive men, aka the Kang's street name, Guntavian, and his continental cousin, Guntoon Day. Hey, girl, hey. Hey, everyone. I know it's been like a very long time. Hopefully, some people show up. I don't know if the notifications went out. But let's just see. Hold on, let's get this party started. Okay. So let me do my introduction again since some people are here now. Hello, and welcome to the Dusty Love Connection, where we explore the dusty, derelict, and downright dysfunctional dating habits of the most unproductive men, aka the Kang's street name, Guntavian, and his continental cousin, Guntoon. Hey, girl, hey. Hey, y'all. Know it's been like a very, very long time since I've been on YouTube. I've had a lot of stuff going on, but we'll get into all of that later. Um, so I guess we're gonna just jump right into it. I actually want to play a song before we jump into it, because like on Sundays I tend to clean and listen to like ratchet music, and I just recently found this song and I just love it, so I'm gonna play it for y'all. Um, it's been like on blast, and I can't wait to get some braids so I can wear it when I get my braids done. It's by Nilla Aylan. I don't know if y'all know her. She's like all over YouTube, but I'm about to play the song. Hold on, and then we'll get into the Bear versus Kang. This is my shit, y'all.
What? Bitch, let me not blame sale to my motherfucking ass. And to what you talk about. Don't stop that shit like that. Yeah.
Down to the booty braids. 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 Don't throw the shit at my back. Every time I get my braids in my booty, I just don't know how to act. Pose I turn to the back.
Show my down to the booty braids. 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 Don't throw that shit in my back. Every time I get my braids in my booty, I just do not know how to act. Posing I turn to the back. Braids in my booty. I be so ghetto and bougie. Real raw bitch, no sushi. Going around with them big old hoopsies. I'm about to hop on the plane. I call up Tiger, she hold it down. I have her right up the man. Nilla all in is a name and they know it. Making good money, I blow it. All of this ass, I throw it. All of this ass, I show it. Real ill chick, no COVID. I'm looking good and blessed. She looking pressed and stressed. I'ma be pissed if I wake up and see me a motherfucking hateful text. Nah, I got a flight to catch. Tight, don't squeeze me in. I got a flight to catch. Me and my bad bitch friend.
Hey.
I got a flight to catch.
Okay, that's enough of that. But anyway, I love her song, Down to the Booty Braids. So, anyway, we're going to jump into this discussion of Bear versus Kang that's been going on all over social media as of late. I know I'm pretty late to the conversation, but I just want to add my 2 cents to it and how asinine this conversation really is as it pertains to the Black community, because this question of bear versus man, right, and our bear versus Kang, right? In the United States, I don't know if you guys have done the research behind bear attacks, and we're going to focus on Black bears because they're the largest bear population in America. And so, hold on for 1 second. So, I didn't know much about bears, so I had to research this information. But apparently, there are 750,000 Black bears in North America. Like, that's the entire population of bears. And there's something like, I forget the male population in the US, but I think it's like over, like maybe it's like I think it might be somewhere near, actually, I forgot what it was. Hold on, how many men there are in the US. I should have come prepared. I'm sorry, I forgot that. Okay, so basically like 49.5% of all people in the US are male. And that's a relatively large population in comparison to the 750,000 black bears in America, right? And these 750,000 black bears kill less than one person per year on average, right? And that's in comparison to men ages 18 to 24. They're 167 times more likely to kill someone than a bear. So basically, right off rip, you're much more safer, statistically speaking, in the presence of a wild animal than you are in the presence of a man in America or pretty much anywhere. Because I even did like I tried to find the stats on wild animal attacks in Africa, but the World Health Organization really doesn't keep those sorts of stats, so that was kind of hard for me to find. But anyway, we'll delve into hold on the comments. Oh, hey, bougie auntie. Hey, Andrea, and hey to everyone in the clouds. Yeah, so we're just gonna go over the black bear versus Kang, and y'all know I'm kind of all over the place because I haven't been on here in a long time, so I'm kind of nervous. But anyway, we'll get into it. So it says that men ages 18 to 24 are 167 times more likely to kill someone than a black bear. Right. And then also, if bears they're only averaging maybe one attack a year. And then you also, I want to find out how often women are attacked in the US. Right. And so every 68 seconds in a first world country, an American is sexually assaulted. And out of those, one out of every six American women has been the victim of attempted or completed rape in her lifetime. And that stat gets even higher when we delve into black women. So I want to share my screen really quickly. And we're going to get into the quick facts on sexual abuse. Because the main complaint that women are having when women are saying they would rather choose a bear than a man in the wild, it often centers around sexual aggression and things of that nature, right? Because if a bear is going to attack you, he's going to maul you and then go about his day. But a man creates an entire different scenario where you can be either held captive, you can be tortured, you can be unalived, you can be essayed, and it doesn't even like this horrific event doesn't just stop because you've been unalived. Because we know in the cases of some men's sexual predilections, they engage in necrophilia, so the assault of the deceased woman after he's unalived her. So this idea that, oh, a man is supposed to be like, the men that are having this conversation are viewing men from this, oh, men are the protectors, men are here, men will save you from the wild, and these incidences that could happen in nature that are not under your control. When in actuality, men aren't your protectors, right? Because how can men be your protectors when they are protecting you from other men? That's an oxymoronical statement. How are you protecting and causing violence at the same time? So then you aren't actually adhering to your role of the protector. And black women in in the history of the United States have never been protected by our male counterparts. No matter what, like they can't point to a point in history where they have saved us from any sort of threat. They can't even save themselves. Right. And so earlier I stated that a woman is assaulted, like sexually assaulted every 68 seconds in the US. But every 98 seconds, that sexual assault is actually completed. So when I was trying to find how they were differentiating in this 98 versus 60 some odd seconds, I was only able to really, like, the only difference in the time disparity was like, I guess 98 seconds, they're saying that a woman is sexually assaulted, but in every 60 some odd seconds, that sexual assault is actually completed, right? So it was very hard to see what they were considering complete sexual assault, because it didn't seem as though penetration deemed it a complete essay. Like, I was unable to figure out how they were defining complete and total sexual assault, because I think that any sort of unwanted sexual advance should be categorized as a sexual assault, regardless of whether there's some sort of penetration or not. So even the laws that are being made around sexual assault, in my humble opinion, don't really protect women or individuals, because men are essayed as well, but at almost a minuscule amount, because 91% of all SA victims are women, and then 9% are men and boys. But when you delve deeper into that statement, right, you find that the 9% of men and boys that are being essayed, a very large percentage of that is underage boys. So that was interesting, because, like, they say men and boys, but a large percentage of that is actually underage children, and they include that in the men's statistics. So I don't actually know how many adult men are being essayed. Like, in all the studies that I was researching, like, I was never able to find like 18 and up, the age range. So I kind of believe that most of the SA victims that they're including in the male population are actually indeed underage children and not adult men. But I have no way of actually proving that to be true. Yeah, it does. They really are splitting hairs, Vera. But hold on, let me get to there is a, okay, here it is. I want to share the screen. Is this the one I want to share? I think so. Okay. Hold on, let me widen that. So this is the sexual violence in the lives of African American women, risk, response, and resilience, right? And so this isn't the whole research. This is just like they're giving you basically like the synopsis of each of the bullet points of the research. And so here we have, it says, throughout U.S. history, the rape of Black women was widespread and institutionalized. The legal system offered little protection, and stereotypes about Black women's hypersexuality were used to justify limited social support for Black rape victims. Black women developed a culture of silence and engaged in anti-rape organizing to cope with their victimization, right? And it's this idea, because I also want to speak to this nature that Black men are always saying, oh, Black women are so quick to call the police on them and so quick to report their assault, when statistically speaking, that is highly untrue. Because I read an article that said something like 60% of Black women are essayed in their lifetime, but less than 9% actually report. And of that 9% who report, only 37% of those, the offenders, actually do any sort of jail time. When a Black woman is raped, her victim is the least likely to be incarcerated. So, and here's another thing. If you were a Black woman and you were caught in the woods with a bear and you were mauled, do you think the outcry would be larger for you being mauled in the forest by a bear or being unalived by a Black man in the woods? Do you think society would cry out more because you were mauled by the bear or more because you were unalived by a Black man in the woods? I'd say that society would cry out more so because you were mauled by that bear than you were by that Black man. Because for one, that bear would probably be put down. That bear would reap consequences for mauling you. But a Black man, unaliving you in the woods, is highly unlikely to do any real time. So which are you choosing, sis? Because I'd rather get my face ripped off by a bear than to be unalived in the woods by a Black man. Because society would do more for me as a victim of a bear attack than they would for me if I was raped and tortured by a Black man. I mean, that's facts. You can't deny it. It sounds wild, but you can't deny it. Okay, so we're going to get into this characteristics of Black rape survivors. In community samples, 31.4 to 65% of reported childhood sexual assault and 12% of reported commercial sexual exploitation. And basically that's the trafficking of children. In student samples, 11.12 of high school girls and 14.2% of college women reported rape. In national studies, 1.5 Black women have been raped in their lifetime. So if you have 5 Black women in a room, it's very likely that one has been essayed at some point or will be essayed at some point. Black women who are low income, HIV positive, bisexual, or incarcerated were at elevated risk. So Black women who are low income, living in the hood, maybe working at a low wage job, trying to do the best that she can for herself, and if she has children, for her children. Because she's in this environment, her rate for SA increases. So a Black woman just getting by, minding her own business, is in an environment that increases her rate of SA. And if any of you have ever been SA, the mental and emotional effects that can linger for years around that individual assault, especially if you do not get help, can be detrimental not only to the Black woman, but if she has children, very much so to the well-being of her children. It's a sick and disgusting conversation that Black men are having online about why you wouldn't choose the bear. They need to, the real question is, why aren't you choosing them? Why would you risk your life with a wild animal over a supposedly civilized man in a first world country. It's 2024. And you still can't be safe. You're still not safe around men in a modern society with cameras, GPS tracking, all of these modern amenities still do not provide you any sort of security. And these are the things that men keep quoting, like, oh, men have invented this, men have done this, have done all of these things that supposedly make society so much better. But it hasn't. And that is why we are still choosing the bear. Right? And quiet as it's kept, Black men should be choosing the fucking bear as well. Because they're unaliving each other out at astronomical rates. Astronomical rates. Black men are 127 times more likely to be unalived than white men, Latino men. Well, them and Latino men are like neck and neck. Asian men, and any other man in America. Right? Because there's this idea that Black men were saying, and to be quite honest, Black men would be safer in the force with a white police officer than they would with another Black man. Because let's be honest, Black, and not to say that the police are like, there's not a racism and all of these things that are being perpetuated by the boys in blue, because that's very so much true. But if we're looking at it from a statistical standpoint, I think last year, or maybe it was 2020, or maybe it was 2021. Don't quote me exactly on the year, but the police killed exactly 240 Black men. Do you know how many Black men killed other Black men in 2021 alone? It was something like 63,000. 63,000 versus 240. I think Brad with the badge is your better option than Tyrell in the woods any day of the week. Any day of the week. And that's just what I believe. I mean, based on the statistics, that's the truth. And then you also have to take into account that the Black women who are stricken with poverty, low-income Black women have higher rates of re-victimization. So if you're a low-income Black woman in the woods, it's more than likely that more than one Black man, if you encounter multiple Black men in the woods, at least say you encounter 7 Black men in the woods, at least 2 of them are going to do something to you based on the stats. If you're a low-income Black woman, you're even more likely to be assaulted in the woods by a Black man. Because they already know that you are highly unlikely to go to the police and report said crime, because you've been indoctrinated to believe that the police aren't there to help you. But whom else are you going to call when some sort of harm befalls you at the hands of a Black man? You're not calling the Black police. You're calling Brad. Because Brad is the only man throughout history who's been able to keep them under control. And that sounds wild for me to say on the internet. It's wild for me to say on the internet. But I've been deep in my Black feminism bag. And like, sis, they've been horrible to us since the dawn of time. And for them to think that us choosing the bear is some like move to make them mad or to some sort of like to be some sort of aggressor to them in some way is delusional, because Black women are literally saying that they're trying to remove themselves from said danger, and Black men are getting upset that you're trying to remove yourselves from the dangers that they're committing against you. Tell me, where does that make sense? Like, where does it make sense? I guess in Nakerland, where all of your dusty and delusional dreams come true, it's safer to choose a Naker over a black bear. And then we're also, I want to get into the what they call culturally sensitive responses, right? This is coded scientific language, right? If you read the entirety of this study, it is clear that the researchers understand that Black women have no protectors, that the Black community does not like Black women. And let's get into this right here. Mm-hmm. All professionals should strive to learn more about African American history, sexual assault, and historical trauma. Professionals can conduct comprehensive interviews that document sexual victimization in survivors' homes, school communities, and workplaces to create a path to recovery that is best suited to the victim's needs. Legal professionals should be trained to recognize commercial sexual exploitation and endeavor to investigate sex crimes that involve marginalized Black women, e.g. those who are low income, I'm not even going to say that word because those aren't women, and suffer from mental illness. Medical professionals can screen for sexual and physical victimization and document genital injuries, right? And they're saying this because they know, like when I read deeper into the research, they know that oftentimes Black women are going into and having exams. Like there was a section in the comments of the research that was literally saying that Black women they were coming in and it was clear that they had been a victim of some sort of assault and battery, right? Even in instances where rape kits were performed and there was clear signs of trauma to the genital areas, Black women were 3 times more likely to deny the trauma. Like that, I don't even know what to say to that, y'all. Like that really, really, like, it just it pulled at my heartstrings in ways that like I didn't even, like, research has never, because like I do this sort of thing for a living, so I've learned to detach myself from your subjects and the study or whatever, but this like really, really hurt to know that Black women are in such deep senses of denial that health professionals can clearly see that they've been through some sort of trauma and they're denying said trauma. And it's like, do Black women believe that? Are they denying the trauma because the historical context of us not really getting any help? Are they denying the trauma because of the indoctrination of the Black community? Or do they not want to face up to said trauma? Because oftentimes when individuals of SA, if you deny said trauma, it's almost like it didn't happen. So there could be quite a few things that are existing, right? But the research didn't really delve into that. And research never really does when it comes to SA of women of any race. it's never as thorough as I think that it could be. But also it could be that the individuals that are being studied aren't divulging completely. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I feel like more Black women specifically need to get into research because um, there's a even though they tell you that you're not supposed to, you try not to draw connections with your studies or the subjects of your studies. I do feel like whenever I've conducted research or done like think tanks and there's been Black women involved, like if they see a Black woman, I find that they're more upfront with their answers, and they're a bit more candid and the things that they share. But that was just me going off on a tangent. Okay, so we're gonna get back into these bare facts. Hold on, I want to stop sharing my screen for a second. Okay, and so we'll get back into the bare facts, right? So attacks are relatively rare. You have a 1 in 2 million chance of being attacked by a bear. You have a greater chance of hitting the Powerball than you do of getting attacked by a bear. But if you're a Black woman, getting attacked by a Black man is almost inevitable. Like, it's inevitable as in some way, shape, or form. And I'd say that the definition of attack needs to be broadened because I've never been like physically attacked. I've kind of been like accosted and verbally attacked. And I feel as though if they included those sorts of attacks in the numbers as well, it would skyrocket. It'd be something like 99% of all of us have been attacked. Because there's this entitlement that we see in all men, right? But the male entitlement that Black men portray is, I feel as though it's on a totally different level, right? And I live in New York, so I've encountered aggressive men of all shades. And Black male aggression always seems extremely violent, and it's extremely dangerous, right? And it's gotten to the point for me specifically, living in New York City, like if I'm in the subway, if I go down to the subway and it's just me and a Black man, I'm leaving that subway station. Even if I've already swiped in, I'm walking right out. Like I'm not going to put myself in a situation in New York City where I can be harmed by a Black man, because they're highly unstable out here. Like they was just running around knocking people out for no reason. And it's summertime. So if any of you are New Yorkers, you know that around summertime, the numbers for people getting pushed in the front of the train starts to skyrocket. And I don't want to be one of those people, but in the instances I've seen of people getting pushed in front of the train, it seems to always be a mentally unstable Kang. So I'm not taking any chances. If I'm in the woods with a bear, like, listen, the bear can rip my face off and push me off a cliff. Like, I don't mind, because I don't want to be tied up in nobody's basement. I don't want no parts of that. No trafficking, none of that. The bear's just going to kill me and be done. And that's just what I would choose. I don't know about y'all, but that's what I would choose. A bear could literally disembowel me, and I would take that over a Black man in the woods any day. Any day. Any man in the woods, actually. But if it's a Black man, that bear could go ahead and rip my face right on off. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. I want to talk about, let's show these facts on sexual abuse offenders. I mean, yeah, most of the violence that is perpetuated on wild animals happens to men. It's perpetuated by men. Men are like large game hunters, and they go on these African safaris, and they're murdering all these endangered animals, right? And then look at how men treat dogs, like the dog fighting. Like, they inflict violence and aggression on animals and human beings wherever they go. I mean, they fight chickens. Like, men and aggression go hand in hand. Like, there's no like separating men and violence. Right? Men and violence go hand in hand since the dawn of time. So this idea that men are getting online and being like, oh, we don't understand why you're choosing the bear, when they have centuries upon centuries of historical and anecdotal evidence of why women would choose a bear over a man. It's like, I really believe that men are getting online and they're upset that women aren't choosing them. And it has nothing to do with women choosing, with women saying that they find themselves being safer in the proximity of a wild animal. You would think that adult, emotionally intelligent men would then say, wow, so it's us that women feel unsafe around, and that we need to foster an environment in which women feel safer around us. But that's not what they're doing. They're literally getting online and showing women why they're choosing the bear. Let's see. Is this it? Hold on, you guys. I'm trying to get to the. That's not it. What happened to the screen? Y'all gonna have to hold on for a second, because I done forgot how to. Okay, that's the screen I want to show, but why is it not showing up on here? Oh, there it is. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. Quick facts, sexual abuse offenders. And this is for the fiscal year of 2018. Right? And so in 2018, 69,425 cases were reported to the U.S. Sentencing Commission. And that does not mean that that's the total amount of cases, right? Those are just the ones that were reported. And it says 1,067 of these involved sexual abuse offenses. It says sexual abuse offenders have increased by 5.7% since 2014, but then it decreased in the fiscal year by 2.7% in 2018. And now this decrease, right, is actually, it really means absolutely nothing. When you do not have the total number, you don't know how many actual cases of SA actually happened, because a large portion of them aren't being reported. So this decrease in sexual abuse offenders means absolutely nothing. Right? And then we're going to look over here at the offender offense and characteristics. 92.1% of sexual abuse offenders were men. 51.6% were white. 21.7% were black. 12.7% were Hispanic. 11.9% were Native American. And 1.9% were other races. This always like, I never understand with the FBI's reporting, because I'm just like 1.9% unknown. This person was arrested. So how is it that their race is unknown? Like, it makes no sense. But anyway, it says 75.1 of the offenders in the case involved child pornography were white. 43.1% of the offenders in the cases involving travel for prohibited sexual conduct were white, and 37.3% were black. Right? And this makes a lot of sense when you realize that oftentimes black sexual abuse offenders are involved in sex trafficking. So, right, they're traveling and they're crossing state lines. 58.2% of the offenders in the cases involving criminal sexual abuse, rape, were Native American. This is the one in this entire stat that I kind of have an issue with, because it says 52% of the offenders in cases involving criminal sexual abuse, rape, were Native American. I kind of find that hard to believe, just due in part to Native Americans not actually reporting to the federal government, and also the fact that a lot of the Native Americans that we know of today aren't actually Native Americans. So I kind of find that this number may be convoluted with a high portion of white individuals, but that's neither here nor there. That was just my own, my own 2 cents. And then it says 73% of offenders in cases involving abusive sexual contact were Native American. 84% of offenders in cases involving statutory rape were also Native American. And I also don't agree with this stat either, because time and time again, when you look at statistics on statutory rape, oftentimes it's white men with the higher percentage of statutory rapes, and then typically it follows behind with black men, because young black girls are at higher risk of being SA than any other demographic in America. But also, I do know that Native Americans do have very high SA rates, but of the 69,000 cases that were reported in sentencing, I just don't believe that 84% of them were Native. I just don't believe that. That statistically doesn't make sense to me, but I don't know. And then they said the average age is 37. So most people that are engaging in SA are middle-aged men. These are 37-year-old men. And we have to also take into account, because if they say that the average age is 37, right? And we know that by, 40, most men in America have children. It wouldn't be too far out on a limb to say that most of these men are fathers. It wouldn't be that far-fetched to say that, when we know the statistics on men who have children in America. And then this also speaks to this idea where they say that, I remember seeing on social media where black men, white men, there was a lot of black and white men saying that a lot of the rapes in America were being carried out by undocumented and illegal immigrants. That's a lie. 95.9% of all sexual abuse offenders are U.S. citizens. So there's a very small demographic of illegal and undocumented immigrants in America that are committing SAs, but most of them are being carried out by U.S. citizens. And then we're going to get into the fact that, because, this whole idea where, like, in SA, they oftentimes blame the woman, right? Like, oh, you need to know the men that you're hanging around, or, oh, the company that you keep, right? Because they're going off this notion that these men who engage in these violent sexual abuses must have a criminal history. Well, 65.2% have little or no criminal history. Yeah. Most of the men that are committing SA have no criminal background. So those background checks, that's kind of irrelevant, because most of them do not have a criminal history. Yeah, that shocked me too. And only 8.3%, and that's in total, because we're talking about the totality of crimes here. We're not delving into the breaking it down by race just yet. But the totality of all sexual abuse offenders, only 8.3% are convicted at trial. 8.3, less than 10%. So let's see, 69,425. 10% of that would be 6,900 of them going to jail. So less than 6,900 actually do any real time. So that's about what? 69, that's probably like, I'd say about 51, 5,200 out of 69,000 actually do any jail time. Right? And their average sentence is 191 months. Right? So that's what, like 5, 6, 7. That's no real time at all. And if they're only doing like 191 months for basically destroying an individual's life, because SA has long-standing effects. And then you have to take into consideration, like, if this is a child, this could cause them to spiral completely out of control. Right? Because the younger in which you experience this sort of violence, the more detrimental it is to your well-being. And especially if you experience this before puberty, from a psychological point of view, like, it can send you spiraling. Most young SA victims go to drugs, turn to drugs at some point in their life, drugs and alcohol. And with young girls, there's this, some of them develop a promiscuity, right? Which can end up with you contracting all sorts of diseases, having, unwanted children. And it's just a vicious cycle. Right? And it says, and then 2.6% of all other offenders are federal offenders. So, right, these are sexual abuse crimes that are deemed extremely violent. Right? And then we're going to get into the top 5 districts of sexual abuse. This is the Northern District of Texas, the Eastern District of Michigan, the District of Arizona, the District of South Dakota, and the Middle District of Florida. It's wild, right? And then if we get into the child the child P word, the average sentence of offenders convicted of production or having child P is 262 months, right? And 93.9% of these offenders were convicted of offense carrying a mandatory minimum penalty, right? And their average sentence was 274 months. And then the average sentence without a mandatory minimum was 89 months. So they're not really doing much time for the production, distribution, and being caught with child P. Because 89 months is no time at all. And then we're going to get into those who travel or those who engage in trafficking and travel in the prohibited sexual conduct with a minor. That's 147 months, right? So individuals who cross state lines or who take children and take those children across state lines are only doing like 147 months on average. Right? And 63% of these offenders were convicted of an offense carrying a mandatory minimum. And their average sentence was 87 months. And those without a mandatory minimum was only 76. And then again, you have to take into consideration that only like 5,100 of these people are even going to jail. Of the 69 that are actually reported and go to court, only 51 and some change are going to jail. And they're asking why we are choosing the bear over the man. Because society is going to do away with the bear. The park rangers are more than likely going to put that bear down. But the justice system isn't going to do much of anything to a man who essays, tortures, traffics a woman, a little girl, or a little boy. So you're better off with the bear. And let's get into this. The sentence is relative to the guideline range, right? So this is basically like the juxtaposition of the bare minimum charges, the time that they can do versus like what they're actually doing. So 54.9% of sexual offense abusers were sentenced under the guidelines manual, right? And that's only what if it's something like 5,100 of that, and that's 49, almost 55%. That's something like maybe 2,800. So then 40.1% of all sexual abuse offenders are sentenced within the guideline range, right? And when you look at the guideline range, like the punishment times for SA are abysmal. It says 7.5% of all sexual abuse offenders received a substantial assistance departure. Their average sentence reduction was 45.4%. So whatever time they were sentenced, they're going to retrial, and then they're getting it reduced to damn near 50%. %7 of all sexual abuse offenders receive some sort of downward departure. Their average sentence was reduced by 32%. 45% of sexual abuse received a variance. So 42.1% of all sexual abuse offenders received a below average variance. Their average sentence reduction was 36.4%. 3% of all sexual abuse offenders received an above average variance, and their average sentence increased was 36.5%. So most, if not all, are being sentenced below the threshold that the law sort of allows, right? So they're getting on the lower end versus the high end. Only 3% received an above average variance, right? And a variance is the average at which most sexual offenders are being punished, right? And so the variance would be like, okay, the average is they're all getting 4 years, right? That's what's on the books, right? But then if you were to average up all of the punishment times that are actually being subscribed to these people, they're doing like 42% below that. So they're getting charged with however many years, and then say they're in prison, and maybe they have the prison system has like good time. So if they are being sentenced to 10 years, right, they're only doing 5. And then if they've been sentenced to more than 10 years, right, like say, for instance, there's a 10-year, then they do an appeal. And in that appeal, another judge finds that the former judge, that original, whatever it's called, like when you were sentencing, that original sentencing, the if they go up for an appeal, that second judge is like, no, this was some bullshit. You're going to get more time. That only happens in 3% of the cases. 3%. It's like the U.S. justice and legal system has literally said, women, we don't care if men rape you. That's literally what they're telling us. They do not care if they rape women, children, no one. No one is safe because men believe that they're entitled to sex, and the laws reflect that. It's sickening. It's sickening. It's very much so sick. And you're right. Most sexual offenders don't actually make it to trial. And then a lot of prosecutors will plead them down because they think, oh, well, it's saving taxpayer money. Fuck taxpayer money. Y'all are letting men sit on death row for 20, 30 years, and it's costing us $250,000. But you have no problem with that. When you found his DNA all over the crime scene, why hasn't this man been put to death? But you consider taxpayers' money and taxpayer issues when it comes to things like sexual abuse. Because SA is a man's crime. Like, it literally is a man's, they're the ones committing it the most, right? And even if we were to say, oh, women commit SA, right? They do, but nowhere near on the scale that men do. And quiet as it's kept, Black women are the least likely to commit SA, right? White and non-white Hispanic women commit most SA when it involves women. I mean, you see it all over the news. Every other day, it's a white teacher doing something weird with a student. And not to say that Black women aren't out here doing things, because they are, but not nowhere near at the rate at which we're seeing other groups of women do it. Because I keep hearing this conversation that, oh, women do it too. Women do it too. I mean, not us though. Not on the rate that some other women are doing it. And then we can also get into, let's get into these murder rates, because the FBI just released the race of offender, sex of offender, ethnicity of offender for the 2019 crime in the United States. And this is the expanded homicide data, because oftentimes what people like to show you is the condensed homicide data, but we're going to get into the extended one. So let me show you these, since they want to talk about. Hold on, let me see what you say. Did you see that case where they sentenced the guy, also made him have? Girl, no, Louisiana down there doing. Hold on, did you say physical? It wasn't chemical castration? That's wild. Hey, Reese. I miss you. No, let me show y'all. Let's get into. Is this? No, that's the number of. Oh, and we're also going to get into. How does that work? Do they lop they lop it off, or is it like, or do they do it like they make him a eunuch and take his testicles? I wonder. They need to start doing it for these serial grapists. Just chop it all off. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get into the crime in the United States. Hold on, this isn't the one. This is 2013. I want to show you guys the other one. Let me see. Where's the one? Okay, this is the one from 2019. Here we go. So, right, we're going to get into this. So these are the crime stats for 2019 in the United States, right? And oh goodness, let me stop sharing. Why did it zoom in like this? Hold on, y'all. My computer's acting weird. Why is it so zoomed in? Hold on, I'm gotta. That's not what I wanted. What the hell is this? I'm not looking for luxury homes in Indonesia. Okay. Is this? There we go. Okay. Finally, I got it together. All right. So this is the 2019 race, sex, and ethnicity of victim by race, sex, and ethnicity of offender. So in the left-hand column, right here, we have the race of the victim. And then here, we have the race of the offender. Then we have the sex of the offender. Then we have the ethnicity of the offender. So we're just going to focus on Black. So this is when in total there are 2,906 crimes that the FBI is recording, right? When the victim is Black and the offender is white, of those 2,906 total crime cases, right? When the victim is Black and the offender is white, of that 2,900, the offender, black on white, is 246, right? So in the year 2019, 246 white people attacked black people, right? And then of that, in this same year, of the 2,906 total crimes against black people, 2,574 of those crimes were committed by another black person, right? And then there's this other that they just, I don't know what that means. It says they don't list the ethnicity of the individual, which I find to be really weird. Really weird that an individual is being arrested and that the FBI does not know said individual's race. That just doesn't sit right with me. And then there's another category where the race of the offender is completely unknown. And we know that this unknown race of people assaulted 63 black people. Now let's get into this by the sex of the offender. All right. So when the offender, there are 2,606 cases of black male on black male crime. Of the 2,906, 2,606 is black male on black male. Yeah, that number is quite high. And then if we go to black female on black female crime, black women are only committing 273 crimes against each other in the year of 2019. But black men like to get on and fix their ashy lips to say that black women hate other black women more than we hate black women almost as much as we hate black men. When in reality, it don't really seem like it. Because 273 out of us being 6% of the entire black population, and only 273 of us are attacking each other, compared to the 2,606 where a black man has accosted another black man. And then this is weird because they say, I guess this might be like trans people or something, because it says 27 unknown black people. I just don't, the FBI, like, I'm gonna need them to do something about this unknown and other, because it makes no sense. Right. And then it says of the ethnicity, 95 of those 2,906 black people that committed crimes, 95 of those consider themselves Hispanic or Latino. Right. And we don't know how many of those are Hispanic or black Latino women, black Latino men. They don't differentiate. And then of those that are not Hispanic or not Latino, there's 1,841. And then the ethnicity is unknown for 970 black people. I'm always confused. Like, I don't understand this. Like, how are y'all arresting people? You don't know their ethnicity. You don't know their sexual orientation. And you can't make up their race. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, right. And so let's look at the white on white crime, right? So they commit 329 3,299 crimes. Of those 3,000, God, I'm all over the place. 3,299 crimes, 2,594 are white on white. Right? And then 566 of these crimes are black to white, right? So it's showing that black crimes, and we can assume that these are black men because we know that most of the offenders are men. So a large portion of these black and white crimes that are happening are black men to said black white people, because black women are most of our crimes we're doing to each other, right? We're not committing crimes. If you do the math, we're not committing crimes against white people. So when this idea that black people commit more crimes against white people, no. They need to differentiate that it is black men, because black women are harming other black women. We're not harming people of other races. Right? And then supposedly 56 of these are unknown. And then 56 are other, and then 83% are unknown. And I just don't understand how in a country that is so obsessed with race, we do not know the race of the offender, and then we don't know the sex. And I guess the sex could probably be because the person is transgender or maybe intersex. It just doesn't make sense. And then like 1,001 and 19, the white person's ethnicity is unknown. It's just, I don't know. Like, I just really hate the FBI's research, because it's mind-boggling that they don't know these things. And you would think that all of this will be logged in a system somewhere, but apparently I guess it's not. So, and then we're going to go down to right here where it says the total, right? So the total race of the offenders. This is of the 4,716, where the male victim was committing crimes, the offender was white. Right? When the female, like white females, commit 1,054 crimes, black females commit 694. And then the other is 153 and 72, and then 147, 37. And then here we have the sex unknown. And then we know that the sex of the victim is a white woman or white male. And then the sex of the victim is a white female. And then the sex of the victim is a black female, right? And then this is basically, they just took this up here and put it down here, and they're doing the reverse, right? So where the race of the offender is white, I guess this is white Latino. Okay, the ethnicity of the victim is Hispanic or Latino. It's 987 is the total. And then the race of the offender is white, and that's 759. And when the race of the offender is black, that's 177. When they're not Hispanic or Latino, the total is 4,205. And they're not Hispanic or Latino, but the race of the offender is white, that is 1,681. And when the race of the is not Latino, not Hispanic or Latino, and the race of the offender is black, there's 2,298. So what we're seeing is that there's a lot of cross-cultural crimes And we know that these cross-cultural crimes are being committed by Black men because we see the totality is being broken down right here, and that's 263. And we know that of the crimes Black women are committing, often they're against other Black women. So this idea, because I've even seen Black men say, oh, be in the forest with a bear or a Black woman. So you're still safer with a Black woman. Because when Black women are committing crimes, they're often committing them against other Black women, more so than Black men who are committing crimes against Black men, Black women, and Black children. So statistically speaking, when they say like, oh, they would choose wouldn't choose a bear over a Black woman, you'd actually have a greater shot, sir. You'd have a greater shot, because if the 273 Black women, right, are committing crimes against other Black women, and the bear is attacking one person a year, and you, the lone Black man in the forest, you would have a greater chance of being mauled by the bear than you would based on the statistics of being unalived by a Black woman in the woods. So even them saying they would choose the bear, like, it's funny because you'd actually be safer with the Black woman. It's just like, it's a mess. It's a mess. And the fact that they're not even taking into account the fact that Black men are also unsafe in the presence of other Black men. Right? They're completely ignoring that. And what they're doing is they're hiding behind the patriarchal accomplishments of non-Black men, because they sit around and they say, oh, well, men are police officers and firefighters, and men are providers and protectors and all of this. But if we were to actually break down the patriarchal system in America, like, a lot of these accomplishments that are Black men are hiding behind aren't accomplishments that are coming out of their own community. And when I say community, I'm talking about Black male demographic. I'm not talking about Black people as a whole. Right? And it's funny because they say that this patriarchal system oppresses them, but this patriarchal system also gives them power. Yes, they are oppressed because they're on the bottom of the totem pole of the male male hierarchy. But because they are male, they have power. They may not have as much power as other men in this patriarchy, but they still have power. And that's what I feel that a lot of them, I think that they know they have power, but they love to be victims. And so even in the cases of essaying women, they still somehow are the victim of the white man system, because Black women are going to send them to jail and they're going to do all this hard time, when in actuality they're not. They're not. Because Black women are the least likely to report. And Black women are the least likely to get justice. And more often than not, we're being essayed by Black men. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched to say that they're getting off and not actually being oppressed by the white man system. They're being rewarded. Like, y'all, I swear to God, if I could have the strength of a man for one day, like, I'd just be in New York City just knocking them out. Just like, they make me so mad. Like, so mad. Y'all would see unhinged Black woman knocking out men in New York City. Because, like, it's wild. It's wild, and it's summertime, and you guys already know that the crimes against Black women are going to skyrocket. Like Chicago, literally several metropolitan cities across America have come out with crime stats. And more often than not, Black women are the demographic that are being victimized. Like we're like 14 times like of all the assaults, batteries, what is it when they run up on you and like try to take your car, carjacking, all of those in Chicago, Black women account for something like 60% of all the victims. And they're like the population of Black women in Chicago is minuscule. I think like Chicago, Baltimore, Philadelphia, like all of these cities, like these major metropolitan cities where they have like a large Black population in the city center, were doing reports and they were showing that Black women are the ones that are facing the brunt of the violence. And no one is doing anything about it. And we're having these fucking nonsensical conversations about bear versus Kang. It's bear every time. It's bear every time. And if I was on the continent, it'd be a fucking lion. I'd choose a lion. Because I looked at the stats in Ethiopia, something like 70% of all Black women say they have experienced domestic violence in SA. The Black women in London, the femicide rates are getting alarming over there. Like every day I go on, what is it, for Black women UK, it's always some 16, 15, 14-year-old little Black girl coming up missing. It's wild. It's wild that these are the conversations that we as a community are focusing on when we got more serious shit going on. Like little Black girls are coming up missing. Little Black children are pouring into the foster care system, both in the UK and in the US and in the Caribbean, because Black men are unaliving the sole care providers of said children. And when Black children go into care, they are 11 times more likely to be sexually abused. 11 times. Little Black girls and little Black boys are having their entire future stripped from them because of deranged, unhinged Black men. And they're wondering why we would choose the bear versus them. I mean, like, just look at it. Let's take into account the parental instincts of bears versus the parental instincts of the Kang. A Black bear, a father Black bear will maul you to death if you cross him and his wife and his cub. Will maul you to death. Will fight tooth and nail to save its bear family. But Black men are sitting their asses online and basically saying, fuck you and your kids that you've had with them. Right? And for some odd reason, Black women keep sitting online saying, we need to increase our numbers. Why? So you end up in poverty, sis? Struggling? And you become an increased statistic of being SA'd? While also increasing your risk of dying, because pregnant Black women are 7 times more likely to be unalived. You're more likely to die from homicide than you are from obstetric-related health issues. And giving birth in America as a Black woman is already detrimental to your health. But you're safer giving birth, which is a risk of death for all women, but it's an even higher risk for Black women than it is. Like, do you not see this? Like, you're risking your life, your physical, your emotional, because having a baby, then it could throw off your hormones and you could be psychotic. Like, you're going through a lot, sis. For a man to turn around and tell you that you ain't shit because you just had his baby. For the community to tell you that Black motherhood basically ain't worth nothing. Because they dog out single mothers, but at the same time keep telling us to increase our numbers. Because we need more numbers for what? So more Black men can engage in target practice with the bodies of Black women? Like, is that what we're increasing our numbers for? Because I don't understand. I just really don't. And I hope that Black women can see, like, I really want us to see their responses, right? Because they're not responding back to us choosing the bear with, oh, well, a Black woman could kill me in the woods too. A Black woman could do this. No, they're talking about you taking their money or using them for money that they don't have, or somehow trapping them with a baby that they're not in possession of. Like, that makes no sense. Like, oh, at least she could trap me with how? Paying $40 a month is a trap? That's what black women are literally out here trapping Black men for $40. That's not even enough to get your nails done. Like, with $40, can two people even eat at McDonald's now for $40? Like, what is this trapping you for $40 doing? And I've never understood the idea of trapping someone when you do not have possession of the child. But you're trapped? But you're not in the home? It makes no sense, y'all. Like, it makes no sense. And, like, I feel as Black women, we shouldn't even engage in this Bear versus Kang debacle because it's dumb. I'm choosing the bear every time. Every time. Literally, there was a man on the internet who said he was mauled by a bear. He literally had a video of him, like, all bloodied and stuff, mauled up by a bear. And he said he would choose a bear over a man any day after being mauled by said bear. Because men know that other men are dangerous. And it's weird that they would sit their just weirdness online and act as if it's strange that women are afraid of them when they respond with violence. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And I just really hope that Black women are really waking up and realizing the situations that we're in globally, because it's going to continue unless we as Black women really start to do something about this issue, right? It can't just be us having conversations amongst ourselves, right? We need to go to our, like, state representatives. We need to have our voices heard because we're suffering, our children are suffering, and the communities in which we're living in is suffering. It's only going to get worse as they become more unhinged every day. Every day on the news, you hear about some young Black girl, some Black woman telling a Black man or some man she doesn't want to give him his phone number, and then him just doing something untoward to her. Like the young Black girls that were stabbed in New York City, the twins. It was just, I saw on the news where a Black woman was run over by a man because he offered her a ride and she said no. Who's getting into cars with strange men in 2024? And you couldn't handle that a woman you do not know would not get into a confined space with you and allow you to drive her away, so you ran her over. It's wild. It's very wild. And it's funny because, like, it's not funny, but like I was having this conversation with my mother earlier today, and my mother literally just asked me, because I guess she saw something on the news, and she was like, so when men ask you for your number on the street, my mother literally said you should just give it to them. She was like, I told your sister to do the same thing. It's sad that my mother is literally out here telling me and my sister. And literally my father was like, if you think you're endangered, just give them the number and block it. It's sad that this is the sort of advice that parents are having to give to their daughters, and that other women are giving to other women online. Because literally I saw this light-skinned black woman, real cute. She had like a blonde wig on or whatever. And she was like, when a man approaches her, she's like super bubbly, super nice. And she's literally like, make sure you call me right now, so they can walk away with a smile. It's sad that men, our supposed oppressors, have taken away our autonomy and our ability to say no. But there are protectors, though. It's good black men out there. But why aren't they saying anything? I literally saw a video of a cute, it was a black girl. She was in Harlem, and I think she was standing at like a fruit stand or something. And this man is yelling at her, and she's yelling at him, and she's telling him to leave her alone, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. I actually think Queen might have posted this. And no one, as you see men walking past, and this man is cussing at her. And in the video, she sounds like she has a very young sounding voice. I'd assume she was like in her early 20s. And all these men are walking by, and he's cussing at her and all of this. And she's just like, ew, I hate it here. And then it cuts to her like buying herself like a cute bag after having to encounter that hostile environment. Like, yes, sis, treat yourself to something. You deserve it. Because like, it's just living in New York City, the amount of times I've been accosted by men, it's gotten to the point now where I pretend that I'm deaf. Like, a man will walk up to me and I'll start to sign. And then they'll leave me alone. Because I'm not going to be like, no, I'm not getting into that. I don't want you cussing at me. I don't want you doing all of that. I'm going to engage in sign language. And then eventually you'll leave me alone. It always works. It always works for me. Like, I know a little bit of sign language, and I'll just start to sign. And even if I have to pretend like I can't talk and make some strange sounds, I'm going to do that, because you're going to leave me alone. Because the men in New York City are hyper aggressive. They're like getting called out your name, getting followed down city blocks. I don't know about y'all, but like, I've had a man walk with me for like 5 city blocks. These is long blocks out here. And I'm not talking about like the streets. I'm talking about like the avenue. And I was just like, it was the scariest. It was broad daylight. He literally walked with me for 5 blocks, cussing and calling me out my name. I was damn near in tears till this old white man kind of just intervened, and he walked off. It's the strangest thing. Or like, one time I was leaving the gym with my white friend, like this white gay dude that I know from the gym. And like a group of, and mind you, like this dude is super flamboyant. Like there's no way they thought I was dating this white man. Like it was giving razzle dazzle. It was giving like I like my back blown out. Like he had on pum pum shorts. Like we just came from the gym. And it was like a group of black dudes on the corner, and they literally called me a coon ass bee. Like I was so shocked, and my white homeboy was like, he just looked appalled, and I was just like, we're just gonna keep walking because I'm not trying to engage them. It's a lot. Like it's a lot living in New York City. That's why I always have a knife on me. I have a baton. There's a baton taser. Like I don't play those games because I don't know if I probably didn't tell you this because this was like a few months ago. I almost had a man push me off the subway track. Like a few months back. And like it was a real scary experience for me because like I've been assaulted in the past. And so like I think he had mental health issues. And like I was like, I don't know if you're from New York, you know, like there's like these green pillars, and I typically stand with my back towards one. And I was reading my book, like I was coming from the gym, so I was kind of exhausted. And I had my headphones on, which I never really have headphones on in the subway, or like I'll have one ear out so like I can hear, but I didn't. And so it was like kind of my own fault. And like I guess he ran down and he pushed me. And if I hadn't reached out and grabbed this black lady, like if it wasn't for this old black woman, like I would have failed. Because he pushed me with such force. And y'all, like my entire life flashed before my eyes. Because I'm deathly afraid of being pushed in front of the train. Like it's one of my biggest phobias. And like it happens a lot in New York City. And then he just like ran. Like by the time I turned around, he was already running up the steps. And he was like saying something crazy to himself. And so the older lady, like the older black lady, she was like, "Baby, you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine." And then she was like, "Go see if it's an attendant in the booth." So she walked up there with me, and it's a man at the booth. It's a black man in the station booth. And I tell him like what just happened. He literally looked at me and said, "What do you want me to do about it?" I literally just walked out the train station and got a cab home. Like, and like, I'm typically like, I'm very sensitive, but I don't try to be like no punk bitch. But like in the cab, y'all, all I could do was cry. Like, I was just like, I was so over it. And it was just like, this man literally, like, I could have really hurt myself because the platform is elevated. It's quite a drop. And if somebody push you and you don't like brace yourself, and I don't know if the track is like electric, like who knows, a train could come and I could get hit. Like it was just a lot. And like when that man literally was just like, "What do you want me to do about it?" Like I wanted to break down and cry right then and there, but I just couldn't. Like I was not going to. I don't like crying in public. But then I got in a cab and I just started crying. And it was just like, it was a mess. And so like, I've been kind of like staying away from the subway. I've been back to riding the bus and taking cabs because the subway gets crazy. It's crowded in the summer. It's a lot of mentally ill people down there. And I'm just like, I'm not trying to go out. I'm not trying to have my life ended by being pushed in front of a train. Girl, yeah, it was really crazy. Like it was really, really scary, y'all. And like, and and I'm so glad like that older black woman was there because like she knew I was about to cry. And like, I don't even know this woman, and she was probably like she was old enough to be like my mother, and she literally like she was like, "Baby, do you got money for a cab?" And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And she was because the lady was gonna give me money to get home, because she was like, just take a cab home. And I was like, you know what? That's what, like, no matter what people say about black women have always been there for me anytime I've ever needed, like even strangers. Like, so this whole idea that black women are mean and aggressive and this, that, and the third, they're not. And I feel like oftentimes when you catch a black woman in a bad mood, like she probably going through some stuff. Because even when people be like, I kind of feel like even hood black girls kind of get a bad rap. Like, I really believe that the reason they are that way is because the environment in which they live, right? And I've got some, like, I guess you could say hood black girlfriends, and they're some of the kindest, most giving people I know, right? Like, I could call some of my what people would like to deem as like black girls from the hood, and if I needed anything, like, I know they'd scrape up whatever they got to give it to me. And that's why I don't subscribe to this idea that black women are mean and that black women don't have other black women's backs and this, that. Like, I don't live that reality. And most of the black women I've encountered have not been like that. Like, even if a black, like one time I was staring at this black girl, this black woman, and I guess she thought, like, because I liked her head wrap, and like she gave me a stank look for a second, and I was like, "Sis, I just like your hair wrap," and she was like, "Oh, I can tell you where to get it from." The whole demeanor changed. Like, I feel like oftentimes black women put up this facade of hardness, right? Because it's a defense mechanism to protect ourselves. But I do not believe at the core black women are hard and aggressive and mean. Like, we're just not. Like, if we were, we wouldn't be tolerating the things that we tolerate. Yes, like, exactly. I've seen those on TikTok where the black, like, teenage girls are like making mean faces so men could leave them alone. Like, it's just and like another thing, like, I hate how men feel like they're entitled to your emotions. Like, first of all, sir, don't tell me to smile. Do you got some money to give me to smile about? Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Or they'll be like, hey, Miss Lady, you look so much more beautiful if you smile. Well, I'm mean mugging because I want to look ugly. Yeah. Like, I don't like that. Yeah. You know what, Tanika? Like, I have my therapist, like, you sound like something, that sounds like something my therapist would say. Mm. Because, like, I very much so internalize things. And, like, it's gonna make me, I'm gonna start crying. But, like, I felt like I kind of put myself in that situation because, like, I never have my headphones on in the subway. And typically I always have my back up against something. And I was just like slipping that day. And I'm the type of person, like, I ran that scenario over in my mind like 1,000 times because, like, it's just things that, like, I have trauma from past events, and, like, that's just how I, like, cope, and, like, it's my defense mechanism. But, like, I'm past that now. Like, I've worked through that with my therapist, and I know that that's not my, like, that wasn't my fault. Like, that man, that his evil actions are his own. And I also believe that he may have had, like, some mental health issues because he was, like, ranting and raving as he was running up the steps. So, like, that just is what it is. And, like, you live and you learn. So I'm just back to taking the bus because I feel like I don't encounter crazy people on the bus like I do on the train in New York City. And that's just that. I'm gonna drop the link if anybody want to come up. I'm gonna show you guys, because another reason why I haven't been making a lot of content Y'all, like I've been in my cannabis bag, y'all, like hardcore. Um, hold on, let me show you so I can show y'all my let me drop it to my can of sugar. Like I had originally bought, like I made my own can of sugar, and then I bought flossine, which is the sugar to make cotton candy, and I was going to combine the flossine with my can of sugar. It didn't work out. Like the cotton candy tasted like completely like weed. The can of sugar that I bought wasn't potent enough, and the colors weren't vibrant enough. So like when I spun it through my cotton candy machine, it wasn't like the cotton candy was just white. And so I had to buy food gel and dye the colors to make them like super vibrant, because I'm making the rainbow for Pride, because I'm going to be selling at NYC Pride. And so I had to like dye the sugar with food coloring gel, and then I had to flavor it, because also the flavors that I bought, like the flavor profile wasn't strong enough once I added the cannabis to the flossine. And now it's just like, you guys, like it's so vibrant. And the cotton candy, my flavors are, I have a sour watermelon lemonade. These are my custom flavors: sour watermelon lemonade. I have a blue Hawaiian raspberry, and then I have a pink starburst flavor, and there's a sour grape. And so there's blue, pink, yellow, and purple are the colors of the rainbow. And then like, because my edible company is like the theme or the branding is basically like outer space. Hold on, I'm gonna show you guys my logo. Y'all, I'm really proud of my logo, y'all. Like, hold on, do I gotta send it to let me drop it. Once I get my website up and running, and then I'm also selling something called Moon Dust or Moon Dirt, because it's like an astronaut themed edible logo. So I have these glass test tubes, and I colored sugar to make it look like it's kind of like a grayish color. And then I put edible glitter in it, so it's like sparkly. So it looks like intergalactic dust. And then I bought these sprinkles that are shaped like little UFOs and like planets. They're like really tiny sprinkles. And what I did is I soaked the sprinkles in the tincture, and then I cooked the alcohol off. So now the sprinkles are coated in THC, and it's like little alien heads and little like Saturns and little like space rockets. And I poured that into the stuff that I'm calling moon dirt. So it's like little samples of like intergalactic dirt, but it's basically just like can of sugar with edible sugar, and like they call it UFO sprinkles in these like glass test tubes. It's like really cute. And then I'm going to put these clear stickers on there that say at Outer Space Sweets. And hopefully, like, because I sold it, I've been selling at my gym. And then I went to the Brooklyn night market and sold a few when I was doing like my test runs to see if people like my flavors. And they actually did. But I'm gonna drop this tonight so I can show you guys. Like I'm so proud of myself and my logo. Like I did that, y'all. Like it eat down, and my can of sugar is like quite potent. Let me see. Select this one, this one, this one, and then where's my logo? Okay, there we go. Let me airdrop it to my phone. I need some music. It's like hella quiet. I don't know. I'll be having my Afro beats going. But did y'all? I don't know. the song Booty Braids. I love that song. Like it speaks to my inner wanna be ratchet. Hold on, let me see. Why is it? Okay, let me see. Present. How do I Y'all, how do I drop like a photo? Like if I want to show a photo on here. Is that okay? Here it is. Okay, I could do it like that. Or no, actually I can't show you that one. That says video file. I want to show like an actual I want to show y'all like how do I hold on, let me see if I download it. I don't know. Hold on. Okay. Can I do it like this? Oh nope, it's not letting me do it that way either. I haven't done this in so long, y'all. I don't even know how do I share a picture on here? Okay. Now let me see. If I show my entire screen, will that show you everything that's on my screen? Like if I opened up let's see. I'm gonna show y'all. I ain't got nothing open that y'all can identify me by. Let me see. Okay. Let's see. We're gonna share the entire screen. Why didn't it do it? I don't know. Like, can y'all hold on? Let me see. Can y'all? It's not showing y'all. Oh, I don't know how to do it. I'm so mad. Oh, hey, Renee. I dropped the link. I'm mad at you, Queen. Like you usually come up, but I think you might have some stuff to do, so I'm gonna ignore you not coming up today. I wanted to. I wanted to. I don't know how to do it. Oh, this is gonna make me so mad. Actually, I don't know, y'all. It's not. I can't. I'm trying to figure out how to show y'all this picture, and it's not allowing me to do it. Okay, so load on preview, then share screen. Hold on, let me see. Cause like I keep trying to share. Okay, share screen. I want to share my entire screen, and then I keep trying to share it. It says Chrome has lost permission to capture your screen. Fix it. Unlock the screen. Let me go to this. Oh no, hold on. It's talking about the restart Google Chrome. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't know what's going on because I done airdropped it and it's not. Let me see. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna go to Canva and upload it to Canva, and then log in. Hold on. Let me go. Where's my Canva login? Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna figure it out. That's not. Why is this doing this? Like, it's giving me problems. And I can't figure this out. What the hell? I don't know what's going on, y'all. I keep trying to. Video file. Desktop. Documents. No. Video file. You know what? Let me add it to. Let me see if this will make it work because this is getting on my nerves. Okay, let's see these downloads, and then I'm going to put this. Desktop. And then where's the other ones? Desktop. Yeah, this will make it work. I think I figured it out, y'all. Like, I haven't been on StreamYards and they've changed a lot of stuff. Okay. Now, cancel that. And let's see if this will work. Oh. Hey, Queen.
Hey, beautiful. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
How are you?
I'm good.
What was you saying about trying to share something on the screen?
Like, I'm trying to share these photos of like my can of sugar. Like, I
Hmm.
airdropped it from my phone to my laptop, but now
Hmm.
it's not letting me share it to the StreamYard. And like,
What have you opened it with? The images?
y- uh, it was in the downloads, and typically, like, I could just drop it from my downloads, like drag it in there, but it's not. It's not doing it this time.
Have you? Are you on MacBook?
Yeah.
Um, Try right-clicking, highlighting them, and opening them under Preview, and then sharing the screen under Preview. See if that works. Because that's what I have to do at the moment. Because there's been updates. You are right. There's been updates to StreamYard and stuff. So there's things where you have to like update Chrome or update Safari to bring it in line with all the new settings and things that they've
Yeah, like
updated.
it says that when I try to share my screen, it keeps telling me like Chrome is locked because like I want to share like the entire screen and it's not allowing me to share
Oh,
the entire screen. And then it's like restart Chrome. I'm not doing all that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Basically, what you're gonna have to do is unlock Chrome in your settings in
mm-hmm.
oh God, what's the one with the big cog wheel on the MacBook? You're gonna have to go into there, unlock the settings, and then you're gonna have to allow it to reinstall and update Chrome because they've got the newest versions. This is where there's conflict with the StreamYard and stuff happening. And then it should allow the permissions and give you access to the other new features that StreamYard has added. But there are some glitches still. So yeah.
It's a mess. Like, what? StreamYard is getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
Like,
It's got its moments at the moment. Like 1 minute it was fine, like a couple of weeks ago, and now it's gone back down the pan because it's like every month they're trying to add updates and add new features, and I get that, but it's like, young men, okay, let's just slow down and correct the features that are glitchy right now. Let's work those kinks out before you add anything else into the mix. But yeah, more power to them for trying. I just would like a stream with no issues. But good stream, sis. Hey, everybody in the chat. Hey, ladies. Sorry, I'm not ignoring everybody. I've been multitasking and doing things, and it's
yeah.
really late here.
Oh yeah, your baby's got what's it called?
Exams.
Exams.
We got 3 weeks, well, call it 2.5 weeks of exams ahead of us, starting in like 6.5 hours. I gotta wake madam up in like 5 hours and 15 minutes. I've just got her back to sleep. I think she had a
Oh,
nightmare with worrying about the exams. So I've literally just got her back to sleep. Hopefully, she'll sleep the next 5 hours and be calm and game time. Okay, then mummy motivational speech. Get her out the door on the way to college. But yeah, she'll be fine. I just thought I'd come out to play for a hot second with y'all. Sis, whoa, Lord of mercy. This Bay versus Kang, okay? Instead of Sean Paul, give me the light, okay? I'm here singing, give me the bear, okay? Just give me the bear.
it's a
Just give me the
mess.
bear,
Like I was
okay?
just, it was getting on my nerves. Like it was really getting on my nerves, and I was just like, oh, y'all gonna make me go deep into the annals of statistics because this is nonsense.
Do you get what I'm saying?
And then this whole idea, like I really want like because people this idea that women are out here like faking rape and this that like that doesn't happen. It's less than of 1% of
It's
women
amazing
who are
how
actually doing this.
the minority is being turned into the majority and vice versa, because that's a very, very small statistic, but because of the way that these mouths like to get away like chicken batty, they're the new gossip folk. That's why it spreads through the internet so quickly, because they're all talking about it. So it gives this overwhelming sense to the situation that this is happening more than it's actually happening when it's not.
Yeah, and that was just like, remember when that what was it, the black lady that abducted herself,
Oh gosh, yeah.
and that was all happening, and we were all having these conversations about like, oh, this is going to be detrimental to black women, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, society as a whole doesn't really care when black women go missing. Like, this isn't going to do anything, I mean, anything worse than what's already happening, right? Like, I do not believe that this one incident is that people are like, the police officers are things they're going to invest less money. They're already not really investing enough money or manpower in locating missing black women, girls, and little children.
Initially, when it happened, I was of the opinion of everybody else. I'll be honest. I was with the crowd with the whole, this is going to impact black women, this, that, and the other. And then as time kind of went on and I saw different things, because there was so much going on and there was so much of the rumor mill and there was so many lies being told and stories coming out of all sorts, kidnapped by aliens, it just got ridiculous. I started to think about the fact that there may be some impacts, but in terms of changes to the laws when it comes to fines and things of that nature, I
Yeah.
feel like with what happened with I can't remember her name, was it Carlisha? I know there was one lady that dealt with the whole, well, let's say, yeah, Red Bull gives him wings, but the other one, I sometimes get the two ladies confused because their situation happened around the same time and they've both got C starting names. But the one that pretended to kidnap herself to get the boyfriend back, her, I thought that potentially with the way that that had gone viral and the amount of time that it looked like they invested, that the repercussion would be that there would be fines and rules would come down the pipeline. I
I
think
mean, what did
that
she
was
get? She got
probably,
like, did she get a year probation or something?
oh gosh, I know I reported on it, what happened, and
I
them
think
saying
she got
about
like, I
arresting
mean,
her. But to be
I don't
honest, it's
think they
been so
actually,
long
I
now.
think they arrested her. She might have got a year probation. Like, because people were like, I remember there was this argument or something. They were like, oh, she's gotten all this time. And I was like, if you go and look at white women who've done the same exact thing, she's basically gotten the exact same punishment, if not a little bit less. But I think she might have got a fine
Hmm.
and some probation. And I think
Something,
they
so.
might have made her go to counseling.
Well, really and truly, that needed to be mandatory. Hopefully, she will take it serious and deal with whatever her issues are in regards to the man that she felt she needed to kidnap herself and worry the world in order to get back and cause a whole heap of, you know, pain unnecessarily, not just to herself, but her family, and a whole heap of other survivors and victims that have dealt with kidnapping or being on the other end of removals. You know what I mean? Trauma that they've dealt with and experienced, being dredged up in aid of finding her. Do you hear what I'm saying? But she got the exact same as the white women and any other ethnicity of woman, fair enough. But I just saw that there could be a potential um, change in the way that moving forward, because there's a history of not especially black women doing this, but more so white women and women of other cultures doing this, that because of the way that social media and clout is in, like, well, I suppose it was 2023 at the time, but
Hmm.
obviously we now 2024, that there would be changes overall to sort of, what's the word that I'm looking for, to subdue people from going that way and continuing to use social media and waste people's time. So it was like, okay, this has happened. Now we need to do something with the rules because this is going to continue to be a problem. Like the whole, I know it's not exactly the same way, but do you remember when all the
Yeah.
break-ins and stuff were happening at shops and high values and Prada, Louis, Gucci? Sorry, I keep saying Prada, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Prada. But you know, the smash and grabs and all that kind of thing, and it kind of like started happening in different places in different cities, and then it sort of spread to like over here we had smash and grabs, So I kind of see it in that kind of context. Not that it's going to happen on the same amount of smash and grabs,
Hmm.
but if other people see that they're able to get away with this and that there's no sort of punishment that goes with it, and the amount of time and all the kind of things that people will continue to do this or try to do it to fake it. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can't blame the law in that sense for trying to do a preventative method for the future. Do you get what I'm saying? So
I, I
what
I
Shams that
kind
was
of agree
dumb.
with you, but at the same time, like that's still like the whole idea that they're trying to prevent a crime that really doesn't happen.
True.
It's about protecting men in the end. It's not about protecting other victims.
Hmm.
When you really think about it, it's not about protecting the victims from this because victims already aren't believed.
Well, in regards to the
Yeah,
under the headings of the essay, great
yeah.
molestation, yes, I agree with you in regards to that. Do you get what I mean?
No, no,
Because
I
we've
was
seen
I
the
was saying
figures.
like I get what you're saying. Like I understand
Hmm.
what you're saying, but also like I think that those laws aren't in the end like they're not going to protect anyone but the perpetrators of the crime.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
When you've still got like guys getting off, getting with not going to prison, coming out with fines, excuses being made in courts about a woman's underwear and that she wanted it. The law is very much in their favor. They just don't see it that way. They choose not to see it that way.
I
But
mean,
with all the essays and everything that are happening every 68 seconds to Americans,
literally,
if they were that interested, they would have done something about this a long time
they
ago.
would have. They would have if it was more men essaying men, the laws would be a whole lot more stringent, and nobody could tell me otherwise.
Like, think about it in certain countries when it comes to like the continent, when it comes to bride price. The fact that if a man can grape or essay or molest a little girl and do that, not face proper prison time, when there's certain countries that have now brought in castration but are not using that, but then that same perpetrator has to go and pay a bride price to the damage that it's done to the father's investment in it.
Yeah.
That's not for the little girl. That's not for her trauma, for her pain, for what she's gone through, for what she's going to have to deal with moving forward to get over that. That's for the father's inconvenience and the family's inconvenience. Do you get what I mean? So that says a lot about male hierarchy and the way that they put in these laws to benefit men without them really seeing it or wanting to see it.
Hold on, where the heck? I know.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just. Oh, they canceled my. Ugh. I ordered some food and they canceled it. That's horrible. Anyway, yeah, like we were talking, we were mentioning, I'm like they canceled my order because I was just like,
You just gotta say food and we off track. That's it.
yeah,
Game over.
like I was just like, where's my food that I ordered? That's what you know what, like I'm sick
Nope.
of like I ordered because I wanted some soul food today,
Hmm.
and they was, and now they not delivering. That's why I hate Amy Roots. Like I hate them. I hate them. Like I just really just wanted some greens and some cornbread and
Oh,
some yams
oh Lord. You're
and
gonna make
some
me
macaroni.
hungry
I
now,
only
Coco.
ordered sides,
Lord. Oh.
and
Yes,
I
boy, for the
literally
mac
had
and cheese.
I literally had my
Okay.
mouth fixed for some greens and cornbread. Like I'm
Mm,
mad. Like
cornbread. Okay. Lord,
I
listen.
love the cornbread from Amy Ruth.
Hmm.
Like I don't really like nothing from there, but they sides and they greens on Sunday. I don't
Hmm.
know if it's a different person cooking them, but the greens on Sunday don't have stems in them, and so
Hmm.
I want to order today. And now I'm just mad. Like now I'm gonna have to. I'm just gonna eat what I got in here. I made some spaghetti like
Oh,
yesterday, but that's not what I wanted.
sis is hungry. I feel your pain, sis. I feel you.
Like I don't. But anyway, I want to get back on this whole like the continent because I've been hearing this conversation specifically from like men outside of the continent talking about going back to the continent and going and getting African wives and this, that, and all of that. And I'm just like, because their reasoning for going to the continent is because, oh, they can have multiple wives and all of this, that, and the third. And I was like, the reason they want to go to the continent is because there's no protections for women.
Yeah, there's even less protection.
There's even like I was watching, because I think you said you watch her too, Nezzyville. She reported on, like, I like to watch her channel
Mm.
because the the dust from the continent
It's
is a
real,
whole other
boy.
breed. This is a whole it's
Hmm.
a whole nother breed of dusty. But
Yep.
I didn't know that, like, if a woman's husband dies, like she's not
Entitled to shit.
she has like no entitled to nothing. Like nothing. And then I like I've noticed on Nezzy's channel, and like how when she was reporting, like she's always talking about like how when a man dies, like they
Hmm.
always just think it's the wife. Like the wife is the wife murdered him,
Yep.
no matter what. Like the man could have had a heart attack. The wife did it. She put some juju on him. She put him in a bottle.
This is the thing. If you're treating women that heinously, and then vice versa, they have the amount of hate that they have towards us that they will commit that crime. They're making the assumption, and there's a lot of projection because of the amount of abuse towards black women on the content. They think that black women are going to act out. Just like they've been turning around for years and turning around and saying, well, black people are going to come, with the whole black power movement, black people are going to come together and they're going to fight against white supremacy and they're going to take the white man down and going to make them bend on their knees, all that kind of stuff. There's some of them on the continent that believe that in regards to black women. They're waiting for the time. Like, it's deep in their subconscious that they're worried that black women will fight back, but black women aren't fighting back. So,
They haven't. And then this like I was watching where like this woman's husband died, and then his family literally came in, took the compound and her
hmm
children,
girl,
and kicked
this
her
is
out.
why you have to watch out for those mother-in-laws on the continent, because they're the usually ones behind the husband who's running things and is the real matriarch and is going to show you what it is. But this is why it's important for women that are in those relationships to make sure that they've got their money saved and a completely separate bank account that is not touched by the family or anything else, because of the way that they will come in once the husband is unalived and literally just put you out or try
Yeah,
to sell you off to another person to get rid of the responsibility that they don't want.
yeah. It was like I don't know if you guys like know Mobad. Like he was a Nigerian artist. Like he made that song Egu. Uh,
Okay.
but like he died, and apparently like he had gotten like he was sick or something, like he wasn't feeling well, and he was having a lot of issues with like his producers, Naira Marley, like chasing him down and beating him up, trying to like force him to do shows. And he was like all over social media, like telling people if anything happens to him, like they did it. And then like he got sick or something, and his wife called a nurse. Come to find out, the nurse wasn't really a nurse, but that wasn't no fault of the wife's, but like everyone thought it was. And this woman gave him a shot, and he had a reaction and died. And then it was like this huge debacle where like
Oh my gosh.
Mobad's family were trying to say that his wife's child wasn't his own and all this other stuff, but like him and this woman had been together since they were like 15, and like they had just recently had a baby. Like she's been there with him like through it all, like
Mm.
from the time they were like young, living in like the slums basically, to like now. And then his father, apparently, who wasn't in his life at all really, like tried to come in after he died and said that she murdered him. And so she was basically like on the run with her child,
Oh my
hiding.
gosh. This is the thing. ladies really need to understand, if you're dating from the continent or you're going to marry somebody from the continent and you're looking to go there, live there, get married over there, you have to understand travel advisories. You have to understand your rights, your entitlement as a woman, not under American law, but the country you're living in or going to marry under. Because people forget that certain things with
Yeah.
getting married in different countries. Do you get what I mean? The divorce processes and a whole heap of other things. Like,
And you have
literally.
to take into account the type of marriage that you're engaging in over there. Are you going
Mhm.
to the courthouse and having what they
Okay.
call a white wedding, right? Because that
Mhm.
falls under totally different laws than if you get
Exactly.
married in a village and you having a cultural wedding.
Yep. hmm And which marriage visas you're applying for. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't let some of these men fool you. They'll turn around and some of them will turn around and say, oh, there's only one marriage visa and it's under the polygamous. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No, go do the research yourself because on certain parts of the continent, depending on which tribe, which country within the continent, there's all sorts of different types of marriages. There's usually like one sector when it comes to marriage license for a heterosexual couple, man and woman, to get married, a singular marriage, and then there's the polygamous ones for plural ones. But there's a lot of these dudes that will leave out that information. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
And
then you have like different legal protections because, like, if you go there and you
mhm,
marry a man traditionally, like, sis, you fucked.
yep,
Like, if you don't go to the actual courthouse and get a white wedding, like they call it,
yeah,
and
you're
a lot
stuck
of
literally under those
you're
tribal laws.
under those tribal laws,
You will
and
have to divorce under those tribal laws, but only if the elders give you permission, depending on what tribe it is, for you to divorce. Because people are forgetting that part as well. The not the matriarchy, the what's the other one? Sorry, the patriarchy is involved when it comes to different elements of the tribal marriages, and especially when it comes to divorce and what that looks like. So if the elders say in the tribal marriage that you can't divorce, you've got a problem.
then in Nigeria, although they do have like spousal support laws on the books, if you get a white wedding, like
hmm
a lot of men avoid a white wedding because of that, and they just do
hmm
traditional weddings. And also, if they do traditional weddings, depending on which tribe they're from, they can have more than one wife.
True.
And then it's just like it's a whole bunch of stuff. And then also, like Nessie was saying, like most women in Nigeria do not get spousal support of any kind, and they don't get child support.
That's true. That's why a lot of the guys go there because they know that they won't be upheld to the same standards when it comes to child support, when it comes to maintenance, when it comes to alimony. If you look at it, there's a lot of the women on the continent that are actually the hard workers and the hard grafters. You see them in the markets, you see them running the shop fronts, you see them, even if it's a man that might own the business, they tend to, for the most part, have women on the floor in the front doing the hard graft and labor.
Oh, and then also there was this like it's wild because people are always talking about let's go back to Africa and like do all of this, do all of that. I wouldn't dare. Not even as a if I was a wealthy black woman, right? Because even like if you have more wealth, you do have more power in Africa, because you can buy your way out of things. But apparently, there was this most recent account. There was like a woman. She was pregnant at the time. She had bought like some tomato paste and went on Facebook and made a review about said tomato paste about how it was super salty and how this tomato paste was basically going to be killing Nigerians. And she went on and she said that because Nigerians have high rates of like diabetes and like sodium, and like this tomato paste had like high amounts of sodium in it.
Okay.
Do you know the CEO had her arrested
What?
for writing a review? Had her arrested, thrown in prison, thrown in jail. This woman has been trying to get out, and she's been under all this due stress that while in prison she had a miscarriage,
Oh my God.
and they're still not letting her out because she said that the tomato paste was salty, and now they've had her arrested,
That is
and she's in
absolutely
jail. And
ridiculous.
like they want her family to pay all this money to get her out. Even and now, so I guess like activists are like rallying behind her, and like the women, I forget what this called. Like it's like the Nigerian Women's Legal Something Coalition. Have all like gathered together to try to like help this woman with her legal fees and get out of jail. And it's just like a woman wrote a review about some tomato paste, and because the CEO has power and money, he had her arrested. And then
That is
they
absolutely
were asking the
ridiculous.
police like, why is she being arrested? Like, what laws has she done? And they were saying that she defamed this man, but she's being held in
Defamed.
prison. Yeah,
Oh my god.
like she's made defamatory statements that could somehow like be detrimental to his business. I don't. It's just a review about tomato paste. If people like the tomato paste, they gonna buy the tomato paste regardless.
Like,
And, and then the fact that
wow.
she's been in prison, and she's under such undue stress that she's now had a miscarriage, and they still not letting her out of jail.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. You would think they would be grateful to know that it's got high salt content. Nigerians absolutely love tomatoes and tomato paste. They love their stew, they love their jollof rice. So
Yeah, it's
isn't
like
that a good thing to
everything got
know?
a tomato paste base.
Do you get what I'm saying? So isn't that a good thing to know to protect your health? But you're arresting this woman for informing y'all that it's a bit salty, so you can make a better choice.
Yeah, and then like there was another account where a Nigerian man, a woman was driving her car, and a man backed into her, or he hit her from behind. She gets out and she asks him like, "Oh, you hit my car." And I guess like in Nigeria, like a lot of people don't have car insurance, so like you have to. They were going to like I guess haggle a price about fixing her bumper. And and the thing is like I've heard this before from like Nigerian Americans, Nigerian Brits, about when they go home to visit, like how men there have like no respect for women if you're not with a man.
Even sometimes when you are with a man, there's been situations in nightclubs where celebrities have spotted women in the club and wanted to approach them and got their man to go over there, and the woman said no, and then all of a sudden, celebrities wanted to shoot up the place and take out husbands. So in some cases, they don't even have respect for their own men that are married to the women that they want.
Yeah,
And
and
then,
oh, sorry. So the girl,
go
she
ahead,
gets
sis.
out, and the man is in a car with another woman, and I guess the woman was like, "Oh, we'll take care of it," and he was like, "No," and basically attacked this woman. He beat her down, like she had a broken rib, a chipped tooth, her eye was swollen, like just like you could tell this woman has been beat within an inch of her life. And she goes to the police department, and they tell her she needs to give them 40,000 naira to file a police report. So she goes on the internet. It's a whole thing. And then basically the police finally get involved because like the governor of the state, like some wealthy person has contacted the governor of the state, and the governor of the state has contacted the police, and now the police are trying to get involved. But come to find out, the man who committed this act is like, I guess he has wealth. And what the thing that threw me for a loop, that really shows me that like the black male worship is on a different level in Nigeria, is the woman that he was with that witnessed the beating. Like they got married the next day. She saw him just beat a random woman with an inch of her life. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna marry this man." And then this is the kicker. The
Whoa.
man doesn't come to the hospital to see the woman. He sends his bride. And she was just like, "Oh, I guess apparently like the woman was saying that the woman was like, "Oh, he's not a bad man. That he was just, forgive him," and some stuff about Jesus and the God and the devil. Like it was just a bunch of nonsense. And so the woman ends up dropping the woman that was battered ends up dropping the charges because I guess they came like he paid her off because in Nigeria, even if someone commits a heinous crime, they have the ability to just pay the victim and it not go anywhere. So
Yep.
there is no real deterrent from crime if people know that they can just pay their way out of it.
Oh, most definitely. I don't know if you remember during, I don't remember exactly what was going on now because it was like during the pandemic, but there was a whole thing going on in part of Nigeria where they'd blocked off this gate. And through social media, people were highlighting what was going on. And then they started sending army and military in there. I can't remember the special name of one of the police forces in there, but they're known for like pulling people over. You know, they'll make out like they're legally searching the car to strip you of your money, your jewelry.
Oh
Sometimes they
yeah,
will
yeah.
assault women. Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
I
not
saw that because
unusual.
there was a black American woman. I think she was living in Ghana,
Mm,
and she was just like she was literally vlogging one day, and she shows where she's being randomly like I guess she was driving and was pulled over by police, and basically they made her pay money, and she was like every day she was like you gotta travel with cash on you because if the police stop you, like they're going to ask you for money.
and that happens on the continent. That happens in the Caribbean. I've experienced that in
Yeah,
Jamaica
I
in
know it
front of
like
me
it
while being in a taxi and
in
being with other
Haiti.
people.
In
Okay.
Haiti, like like
Hmm.
in Haiti, you liable to they go and be like, in order to get your bags at the airport.
You get what I mean? They'll go as far as even like they'll turn around sometimes the police and they'll check around the car. There's nothing wrong with the car. They'll smash something just to make an issue to make you pay them on the spot and take you to the cash point and make you draw money. So though it, in a lot of ways it doesn't surprise me. Plus it's interesting because like recently my cousin got in contact. She's been traveling between the Caribbean and the continent and England for a while, but it looks like she's settled on the continent. Her and her fiance have been together for a long time and they're due to get married. And so I was having a conversation with her the other day because she wants me to do the photography for her wedding, but it just happens to fall on the day that I'm booked for something else. But basically, I was like asking her about like what's up with the continent right now because of the amount of black women that are going missing from England and America out there. I'm like, cause wagwan, and she's like, cause because she was in Tanzania, a part of Tanzania where they didn't have TV. They were just really out there off the grid kind of thing where they were living. She was like, I didn't know that was going on until she traveled back to Ghana and then she's seeing all the news and the news reports and she's like, they're wilding out here. Some of the dudes in different parts of the continent are wilding out here and she doesn't know why they're wilding the way that they're wilding.
Yeah, like I've noticed, it was a black lady that I watched too, and she's in Ghana. She's leaving, and she was like, "It's just too many Black American women coming up missing, or coming up dead, or like, I guess one black lady was killed by like her house guard,
Mm.
like the man that she, or like her gateman, like she was murdered by him, and the police aren't doing anything about it."
All I can say is, ladies, be careful. So I even had to say to my cousin, I was like, rights for women, make sure you know what go on. Do you get what I mean? What you're entitled to and all those things.
And it's because like I used to be one of the like I always tell myself like my grandfather gave me when I was like really young, he gave me an encyclopedia, like it was like encyclopedia of Africa. And I always like from the time I was in the fifth grade, I said I was gonna move to Zimbabwe because like I've always wanted to go to Victoria Falls. I don't think I don't I've changed my mind. Like I want to retire to Costa Rica now. Like it's not there's no legal system out there. It's not safe. It's not safe at all. And the things that are happening to black women en masse and no one's really doing anything about it, it's sad.
Yeah.
It's very
Especially
sad.
if you I don't know if you've seen that the UN was doing a report basically on women, and they've been sort of like for the past how many years. So all the reports and studies to do with like worldwide, different parts of the continent, different parts of America, England.
I saw. I was reading. Uh, I was scanning through. I didn't actually read it because it was about the most unsafe country in the world for a woman. Guess where it is?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
The most unsafe place. Okay, so there's Venezuela, and then there's Ethiopia, and then I think the second or third might have been like Nigeria. Like a lot of the top countries, if they're not South American, they're in Africa. Because I know Venezuela has like the highest femicide rate, and then I think Ethiopia
Yeah.
has like the world's highest domestic violence rate. Something like 70% of all women in Ethiopia have been abused at some point in their lives. And something like um it was an astronomical amount of those women have also been tricked into sham marriages. Like for some reason, like Ethiopia has a high rate of sham marriages. Like these men are pretending to marry these women in order to de-virgin them. And then basically these women are being ostracized and thrown out because they've given up their virginity to men that they thought they were marrying, but they're not actually married to these men.
Mm. You've got the other side of it where you've got them marrying the little girls and they've got the source, specific type of STI,
Yeah.
that they want to get rid of because of the rituals that they believe in a girl's virginity, being able to get rid of that infection.
And then
We're
also
doing
what
the same thing.
I also find really funny because there's this idea that non-black men are just out to that are taking advantage of women, specifically black women, as it pertains to, we're talking about African women, right? Because there's also an influx of Arab men, non-black Arab men, who go to Africa and engage in sham marriages as well. They go to Muslim countries, and what they do is they pretend like they're going to be marrying these black Muslim women. These they And it's funny because like they have black Muslim men that are setting all of this up, that are tricking these Muslim girls because they're just going there for like sexual tourism, but they want to deflower women, specifically black Muslim women. They're not doing this they're not going to the Middle Eastern Muslim countries and doing this. They're traveling to Africa and doing it. And basically there's black Muslim men that are profiting off of this because they're setting all of this up. So they're finding these very young Muslim girls and they're going to their families and saying like, oh, this Arab man is going to like marry her and all of this. So then they set up a marriage. It's a fake marriage. And then that man leaves and never comes back. And then she's shunned. And these girls are like 13, 14, 15 years old. So these pedophile Muslim men are coming to Africa under the guise of wanting to marry young Arab women, and they're lying and saying they're going to get them the visas to come back to their home countries. But the Arab men are saying that the black Arabs that are setting all of this up, they know this is a sham because they're getting paid for it. So it's a bait and switch.
Yeah, it's another form of trafficking, just using the guise of marriage and then putting them into indentured servitude.
And that's why I say to black women, I know that like I never want to come and attack anyone's religion or anything of that nature. But I believe we all need to get back to our our religious roots. If you feel like you need a deity to worship, like you need to get back to your ancestral roots into by some means, because Christianity and like it's the highest form of non-black male worship. Like it's like these religious groups, they say that women have no value, and then when you think about it, like the black church and black Muslims take it to a whole nother level. Like the abuse of black women is sanctioned in the black church. The abuse of black women in the Muslim Brotherhood is sanctioned.
This is why I said to black women in regards to okay, recently there's been this thing to do with the black wife effect, and I don't know if you've seen it, to do with like white men,
Yeah, I've seen it.
showcasing their black women or their black wives. And obviously, I see the positive side to, the quote unquote validation of their relationships and worshipping their wives like how you would expect. Because, most white men, if they were whoever they're married to, usually their other white counterpart, you see them do their family photos and their, you know what I mean? And even with black couples, you see them do their photos and their balloons and stuff like that. So it's not like, those couples of those ethnicities aren't doing that, because they are. I think in 2024, it's just become, in some ways, depending on where you live, more acceptable to showcase that, rather than how many years ago where that would have been probably sidelined out of respect for the ethnicity. But I've cautioned as well in the live where I spoke about it and saying, let's not pretend like other men of other ethnicities aren't watching this. And it was ironic because um, when I was scrolling through some of the other hashtags, there was like one guy that came up, and I think he was Mexican, but I was making a joke of it and calling him Cartel Zaddy. Do you get what I mean? But basically, he had this whole sort of like little thing that he put up as a part of the video saying he's in therapy, this, that, and the other. He knows how to cook, his domestic AF. And I was still saying to ladies, do you get what I mean? Even if you decide to go that route, still be aware that these guys have been listening in the clouds. Because look how over the last how many years we've been saying to guys in the community to go to therapy, sort your mental health out. Do you get what I mean? Get yourself back on track. So other guys of other ethnicities are watching this and picking it up on it and using it as dating cues. Do you
Yeah,
get what I mean? In
I
their
feel, I feel like all women
approach.
I feel like I've been so deep in like black feminism theory and just reading a lot of stuff like this past year.
Hmm.
I feel like going forward, I'm a misandrist. Like I'm out here, like I'm full on he man male hater. Like and it was funny because like I was having a conversation with my guy friend, and he was like, he called me a misandrist, and I was like, it's funny because I don't even think misandry's real. Because what can women do other than say that they hate men? I can't make any laws. I can't make any real societal changes that will affect men. So misandry doesn't even really exist. When you really think about it, it doesn't have the same power that misogyny or misogynoir has. Because I can't physically cause any real harm to men.
Do me a favor, sis, while you're there, just bring up the definition of a misandrist. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to?
If you can, if you don't mind.
Okay. Misandrist. Let's get that definition. Let me show you. But yeah, like I'm a full on misandrist. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, so the Oxford Language Dictionary, misandrist, a person who dislikes, despises, or is strongly prejudiced against men. What does misandry mean? It is the hatred of, contempt of, or prejudice against men or boys. I'm not going to include boys because they're children. My form of misandry only involves adult men. And what is a misandrist personality? It says a misandrist personality is a person who hates men and compares that to misogyny, which I don't really think is the same. Like it, I don't believe that. I don't think that women really have any real power in their misandry.
Now, if you want to claim it, that's on you. What I see is that, like, by the definition and all that, it includes boys, and you don't feel that way about boys. And the prejudice or quote unquote discrimination that you have is more towards the degeneracy that goes on within the ethnicity or ethnicities that have degeneracy in them. So I wouldn't say you're a quote unquote full misandrist.
I mean, maybe not in the literal sense, but yeah, I'm there. I'm there. Especially like after I've been reading a lot of the books that I've been reading, like I'm gonna buy some more copies because I want to give some away on the channel. Like the Black Macho and the Myth of the Superwoman. Literally, like I've read a lot of books in my day, and a lot of books have moved me, but this book moved me in a way no other, like no other book has. And I feel like I just need more Black women to read this book because it is eye opening. Like it blew my mind. It literally blew my mind to hear the words of a Black woman who was alive during the civil rights movement, and the things that she says that Black men were saying, they're still saying today, and how basically a ton of Black women alive then felt that the civil rights movement fell apart right when miscegenation was allowed, and that all during the civil rights movement it really wasn't about Black unity or Black power. It was about Black men acting out what they thought was their manhood onto society. And that involved sleeping with white women, violence towards Black women, and this, she said, sort of pissing contest against white men, where they were violently engaging with the police and all of this stuff, as if to show that they were could be just as violent and just as aggressive as white men, and that they were no longer going to tolerate the things that white men were doing to them. But it really wasn't about educational accomplishments or anything of that nature. It was more of a dick swinging contest. Like that's basically, and she was a Black Panther.
It's interesting you should say that because at the same time, basically, I can't remember exactly when it was. I think I did drop you the link, but to Claude Brown, I think he's the author of Man Child in the Promised Land. I haven't got to that book yet. But in an interview that he took place in, he basically alluded to the same thing. He talked about the white man and how they didn't like how they were behaving at that point in time, that they were controlling them, and how they were rebelling against society, rebelling against their parents, rebelling against women. That it was basically that, what you
Yeah.
said.
She said it was just full on like rebellion in the streets and Black men. And she was talking about how there was like rampant drug use and Black men were creating children. And then she also delves into how a lot of like the teenage pregnancy at the time involved like it was, these were adult men impregnating very young Black girls. And it was just, It blew my mind.
Girl, between that book and just in terms of the amount of documentaries that I've watched over the last few years from Hezekiah News, you've got The Vanishing Family. Even in that, you've got one of the workers talking about the amount of teenage pregnancies while black women had entered back into, entering back into the work field, and the sort of roles that had reversed. So
And
it just
also,
continues to prove it.
like during, like right before the civil rights movement, right? There were more black men in getting an education than there were black women at the time. And it still didn't change the financial outcomes of the black family. Because even when black men at the time were procuring uh, higher rates of education, they were still creating broken homes. Educated black men were still out here having families all over the place. This idea that there were these strong black families in the 1930s and 40s, that doesn't that's not really reflective of the times. Like, black men were leaving women with 11 children at one time. And I'll never understand them complaining about the environment they have created and continue to create. You complain about single mothers, but you're the one with 7, 8, 9 baby mamas. Like, how many black women do you know with 9, 10, 11 kids? I feel like that's very rare. Like, people try to make it seem like it's more common, but I don't really know no black woman with that many kids. Like, but you hear black men, like, I literally saw a clip. I had insomnia and was scrolling through like the weird lives that were up on YouTube. It was a black man interviewing another black man who said he had 46 children and 27 baby mamas. And then he said he had 3 more on the way. And they was all in the comment section laughing and kikiing it up. They're literally making videos. Like, I mentioned this to Queen. There was a video and it was like, hip hop has a baby mama problem. If you go to the video and go to the comment section, it's nothing but non-black men, because their profile, and it's like, no, hip hop has a baby daddy problem. Like, they're like, these men have 8, 12, and 13 children with non-baby mamas, but they say that the black community has a baby mama problem. No, they've got a baby daddy problem. And these are non-black men because they see it for what it is. Because although black men say they're oppressed by white man's patriarchy, patriarchy gives them the ability to shame and blame women for an environment that women did not create.
Preach, sis. Because I was speaking recently to some of the ladies and I was saying how the patriarchy, especially the patriarchy within the black community, benefits from the masculinization of black women and the militarization of black women's mindsets.
It sure in the hell does. Most of the advances that the black community has made wouldn't have been made without the masculinization of black women. We're the
But
ones out here on the front lines getting things done.
okay, doesn't benefit the men in the community for black women to completely step back and quote unquote rest in their femininity, because it means things wouldn't be getting done in the community. It benefits them to keep black women as a resource and keep the militarized, militant mindset in place, because then they get to still sit in victimhood and defeatism and say, woe is me. And look, our black women won't listen to us, but at the same time, still push the whole, boo the white man. Which, don't get me wrong, boo the white man is still a problem, but what are you doing about that problem? Man to man. If men are supposed to be dealing with other men, and women are supposed to step back from some of these spaces and things that I've heard in the past, then why are you still complaining to black women about boo the white man?
They need to be blue to black man because it's the blue bloods bland
Oh Lord,
that's making all these murders happen.
not the blue blocks man. Did you just say that? Lord have mercy. Boy.
That's what they need to. They because it seemed like they riding around in black hoods and sheets currently.
Oh.
Like it's wild. Like it's so wild. And I'm just like, are they really this deluded that they don't see the things that they're doing? Like I don't believe that. Like they know they're committing all of these crimes. Black men are scared of other black men. But then they
Girl,
get online and say that the reason the black community is the way that it is because of black women.
in the last how long there was a live, and basically, just listening to a clip of this live. I haven't listened to the full live, but basically, it's a mixed group of people on the panel, mainly black men, and the conversation has come up basically around black femicide. This is not verbatim, but how I perceived what was being said is basically, isn't it better for black women to be unalived by black men rather than boo the white man? Wouldn't you rather that happen than, be unalived at the hands of other ethnicities? And I was like listening in the clouds and I was like, you what? Who wants to be unalived full stop? And they're laughing and trying to gaslight the situation with other people that were on the panel, other
When
women
you
that were
say
on the
mixed
panel.
panel, do you mean mixed races?
No, I'm talking
Oh,
about mixed in terms of gender.
oh, okay.
And it's like, what is funny about that? What's funny about being unalived full stop? Why is it okay that you think it's okay to say those kind of things? And I'm just like,
When you think about it, like
whew,
when it like when because like I'm gonna be honest, like Cynthia, like even though I had always realized that black men were an issue in the black community, like it wasn't until like Cynthia G brought it to I don't think there's been a point in history where they haven't treated black women the way they're currently treated. It's just only getting worse. Because I mean, like, look at the treatment on the continent where black men have basically always been in control. Black women aren't in a better position. And they don't want black women to be in a better position. And then
I
did you
think,
just see how the ANC just got voted out in South Africa?
no. I've
Yeah.
taken a break from the news for a hot second. I caught a couple of things, but not in regards
Yeah, they
to
just voted
that.
out basically all the black leaders.
Oh, Lord.
It's sad. It's just real sad. Like, and when you think about it, everywhere we are, we're basically in the same position. It's sad.
I think it gives you a different perspective at this point now, how many years on, when I say the dust is real and wherever degenerate being dust exists.
Yeah. And it was like waking up to the romanticization of Africa, like really let me see how dusty it is up in there. Like you would think in a place where black men are the authority, like they would at least try to provide some illusion of protection to black women. But they don't even try to provide an illusion. Most men provide their women some illusion of protection.
Well, the illusion might be enough for some, but it's not enough for me. So,
Yeah.
but some people will choose to stay dissociated, you know, continue with the delusion of unfortunately decades and centuries past. But in this generation now, with how connected we are and how much information is at the tip of our fingers, it's up to black women to make that choice in this generation moving forward. If they want to continue the cycle or if they really, really want to break it.
Yeah. That FGM is some serious stuff. I watched a documentary because like there's several different forms of it. And apparently like they doing it in Britain.
Yep, that's been a problem for a long time.
Like they're doing it on little African girls in the UK and in European countries.
Even when, like, say for example, going to the hospital, there's basically like promotion and advertisement against FGM and stamping it out. There's been stories here where a group of little girls were found in a bed. You know, I don't want to go too graphic, but they'd undergone the procedure and had gone into shock in the bed and had to be taken to hospital. And it eventually came out about the practices that were being held. So it is still an issue within um, different continental black Muslim, more so
Yeah.
families with those kind of traditions. As far as I'm concerned, those kind of traditions need to be stomped out.
Yeah.
And you're right about the 7 different ways. Um, there's a wonderful content creator on YouTube. I don't know if she's still got her channel because there's been times that she's lost her channel on TikTok and YouTube. But she's gone into her experience of FGM and what happened to her, as well as other educational videos on different things that are taking place here in the UK and on the continent around that. And there's some great female photographers, some black women photographers that have done projects around it, but it's a difficult subject. And when it comes to the photography and the images that come out of those subjects, they
Yeah.
don't get highly highlighted because of the nature of the topic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm. What else was there? What else has been going on in social? Oh no, that's not what I was trying to do. What's been going on in these social media streets?
Girl, I've been drinking my water and minding my business for the most part. I'm trying to keep my sanity together. Self love, self care, focusing on my health right now. It's been too much drama, so I'm taking a break from the drama. I'm
Mm.
on the Mary J. No more drama.
Yeah, that's the way to go. But now I'm talking about like social media wise. Like I haven't been keeping up with the trending topics lately.
There's been some stuff come out about a little bit from Yanni. Real talk with Yanni. She's been talking about like some YouTubers in terms of Queen Niger and her relationship with Clarence. Like there's black women in their comment section basically like begging for the man to propose to a woman that he doesn't want to really be with outside of a business deal and clout and making it look good for him. So that their video apparently went viral because they were giving advice about a woman, like the whole Agni Aunt thing, question and answer response. They're giving some response to a woman that's been in a relationship for 10 years and hasn't got the ring. But she's been with Clarence for something like 6 years, and people are in the comment section begging for this man to marry her and can't see all the signs that this man doesn't fully want to be with this woman. You can go out and buy a $250,000 Maybach, but you can't put a ring on this woman's finger. And then I suppose my question to black women is, okay, say for example he does propose. What is actually going to change in her circumstances when she feels the way she feels presently if you really listen to what she said in recent interviews and stuff, and where she feels stagnant, and the fact that she's been in long-term relationships and hasn't really found herself, and she's trying to find herself meanwhile raising kids and having a music career and being up from 6:30 in the morning and being non-stop. So I'm like, what is going to change in those circumstances?
Nothing.
So it's like, what does the ring mean in all of this? So it's just dumb to me that, you know, people just want people to just put a ring on people's finger and not think about the wider implications. But marriage rings and all that kind of thing mean different things to different people. And then, what else has been going on? I'm trying to think. Mm, Been dumb stuff going viral. Um, I've kind of stepped out of the whole like reality TV relationships reviews and stuff like that, so I'm not really focused on what's been going on. Um, but apparently one of the guys that was on that whole reality dating TV program that got one of the black women to the altar and then left her at the altar on the
Hmm.
program and declared his undying love for her and stuff after the show didn't chase her and got into bed with pass around Selena Powell or something like that and went viral and embarrassed his black mother who defended him. It's just really, really pathetic, embarrassing, juvenile, dumb stuff that is just like,
They don't
yeah,
care how
I'm
they
checked
look to
out
the world. They
on my
really
brain
don't care how they
cells.
look to the world, and it's just like,
That's why I've kind of just checked out of parts of self social media and taken a break because it's like my brain cells need something more substantial. Y'all can continue to keep embarrassing yourselves with foolishness.
yeah, like it's horrible. It's like they don't want to look better. Like they get online, and then I saw this clip of like this man talking about the best place to marry bees, and he was naming like Afghanistan because you can like beat them and all this other crazy stuff, like a complete lunatic. And then he named like Yemen because of all these things you could. like all the harm you could do to women. And other men were laughing in the comment section.
What?
Yeah, it was wild. And I'm like, how is this up on YouTube? Like, I reported
Unfortunately,
it.
that's the thing about YouTube, innit? It's got some weird angles, and there is like a darker side to YouTube that some may not be aware of.
Yeah, like there's some really weird stuff on YouTube. And if you've ever been up like late at night looking at the lives, oh, it's some weird, weird stuff going on YouTube. Like,
This is probably going to sound like a strange question, but with the bear versus king thing, just out of a food question, do y'all eat bears out in America? I know that probably sounds bizarre, but like people are eating alligators and people are eating sharks. People are eating
it's
all
so funny.
kinds of
I
things.
mean,
So
people probably do because like they hunt them, but like I don't. I've never heard nobody eating bear. Maybe like this. I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but maybe Native Americans might eat bear. They might, because like they hunt bears, right? Like I don't know if I don't, but then again, could the bear might be like a sacred animal? So Nick said, I don't know, I don't know.
okay. Listen, y'all, to y'all listening to this, it might sound ignorant, and I'm not going to pretend like I don't have ignorances over things. But, you know, in some cultures, they do eat them. So it's like, I don't know if that's a thing. Do you know what I mean?
No,
Like,
it's not ignorance because we eat a lot of wild stuff out here in America.
mm,
Like people eat possum,
hmm
people eat all types of stuff. I mean, I'm Haitian. We eat turtle soup.
if anybody has eaten a bear, what does it taste like? Just, you know, I'm not trying to be facetious
Alligator.
or sarcastic, but
Alligator's good though.
what does this alligator taste like?
Alligator tastes like a better chicken. And I've had frog legs. Like I could tear some frog legs up, fried, deep fried, or like a frog leg stew.
I don't know
It's
how
not
I
a lot
feel
of
about
meat
the whole
on the
frog
frog
leg
leg.
thing.
It's not a lot of meat on them. Like you just eat the legs, like the back legs.
Hmm
It tastes like chicken. It's like a. I'd say it's kind of like a sweet chicken. It's not a lot of meat on them, but it's real good. Every time I go home, my dad make them for me.
Girl, enjoy. I don't know if I could do the frog leg thing.
Like one thing I can't do is like I don't like snails. Nigerians eat a lot of snails.
No, 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 no. I'm not a snails person either. Like they're into Welshes, and then in France they're like, there's an escargot.
I've had escargot one
Girl,
time and I was like, mm. That's
I had
nasty.
this experience when I was like a teenager, and we went to France on this trip for a few days, and one of the girls decided to order in it. And it was like this big, massive tray with escargot, and they're all staring at me. I couldn't eat it. I couldn't eat it.
I like tartar though. I like
I
tartar.
couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And then they tried to tell us that it was in their culture. It's an insult when you don't eat the food. I was like, I'm sorry. I left them to do that what they did. Okay. No, sir.
No, I
I'm
don't
good
like.
on that.
I can't like. I have a really weird thing with textures. Like I can't. If the texture's weird, I can't eat it.
Yeah, I feel you on the texture thing. Mm-mm.
Cause
Enjoy
like,
though. Bon appetit for those who enjoy it.
cause like I don't like tripe either.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Though apparently back in the day, my grandmother could throw down hard on that. So it's funny
No.
being this age now because I don't remember some of the things that we used to eat when we were like really really young. I don't remember all of them now. Hey, such you. Mm, mm, mm. So I heard you talking about the can of sugar. How are you getting on, sis?
Oh, it's. I wish I like. I really wish I could show you. I'm gonna upload. Oh, actually, I'm gonna upload it to my community wall
Okay.
so I can show you.
Mm, mm.
But like, I've got a blue raspberry, a
Oh,
watermelon lemonade, and then I've got a sour grape, and then I made a moon dirt, which is like I took. It's just the moon dirt is just pure can of sugar. I'm selling it in test tubes, and then I
so
put edible glitter in it.
okay.
So
For a
it's
hot
like
second, what
sparkly.
does moon dirt taste like?
Oh, moon dirt is like
Like what?
moon
It's
dirt
creative. Though.
a pink starburst watermelon flavor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Watermelon pink. Mm.
and it's like I took the can of sugar and I put like black food gel and turned it into like a gray, and then um I took another separate can of sugar and made that like really really dark to add to the gray, so it looked more like a dirt, like a moon dirt, kind of like this weird gray
Sparkling
color.
contrast.
Yeah, and then
Mm.
I put some silver edible glitter in it, so it's like sparkly. And
Oh,
then
that sounds like a sandstone ball.
yeah, and then it's in these like glass test tubes with a cork on the top. And then I'm wait I've got these sprinkles that I ordered that are like shaped like UFOs and like little planets and alien heads, and I soaked them in tincture, and then I cooked the alcohol off so it just leaves behind the THC soaked sprinkles, and then I put those in the sand. So it's like it's really cool looking.
Oh
And
my gosh, that sounds so cool and pretty.
yeah, and then so you can do like individual. It's kind of like it tastes like you can pour it in your mouth. It's like kind of like a adult pixie dust
Okay.
sort of thing. And I'm calling it moon dirt. So yeah.
Mm. Come on, England. Hurry up and legalize.
Um,
Okay. When I make my trip in the future, I'm definitely gonna order before I come out. So I got my product as soon as I land, and I'm like, yes, okay with my moon dust.
yeah,
Hmm.
like it's. I think, and then Pride, we have the cotton candy will be pink, blue, purple, and yellow for the pride flag. We're gonna do like rainbow colored cotton candy, and the
Hmm.
cotton candy container is 500 milligrams of THC. So I was like, okay, I packaged one container so like I could do a test of eating like the whole thing. Y'all, I was completely couch locked. Like I was like, this stuff is super potent. Like I ate the whole container. I fell asleep. All the lights was on and the music was going. Everything. I woke up in the morning. I woke up in the morning. The music was still going. TV was on. All the lights was on in my apartment. And I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't like you gotta take this sparingly.
Oh my gosh.
The moon dust is like 300 milligrams of THC. So you can microdose. Like you don't have to take like the whole tube at once, depending on like how high you want to get. But the can of sugar, like the high is a little different. Like it just kind of like washes over you. It feels very different from smoking marijuana because the tincture, like it's because it's sugar, and sugar was just going to dissolve in your mouth, like your salivary glands. It's more fast acting, so you got to be careful.
Remember to send me a catalog, sis, because I've got family out there, and I sent them a few things.
All right, I'm gonna put the pictures on my um community wall. I'm about to do it right now.
Hey, I'm here, dad, sick of my bad boy. Hey, 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 chew, hey, Afrobeats.
I love
Okay.
it. Like I listen to a lot of Afrobeats. That and compa.
Yeah, compo's got some. I'm exploring at the moment. I'm enjoying having fun with music. Got very eclectic taste though.
Mhm.
Some people will say to me, "Oh, you've got the drink." There's a segment that I do that sort of splits up, and when I'm doing things or taking a break, and it's got drink my water and mind my business, but it's got some Afro house tech towards the end. And I've had some comments in the comment section about how loud it is and that how I don't know how to adjust sound and all those kind of things. And don't get me wrong, I'm still learning when it comes to YouTube, but that specific part is purposely loud because that's how it's supposed to be played. But if you're
Mhm.
not into that kind of music, you wouldn't know that. So I find it funny with certain comments and stuff like that.
Yeah, I put it on the community wall, like some of my sugars and my logo that I made. So y'all can check that out. I posted it now. I'm gonna delete it because I don't want people all up in my business. But I did just want to show y'all. Oh, that way I could probably do it now, huh? If I go to YouTube, now I could show y'all. That's
Yes, you go, sis. That's so cool. Oh my gosh.
why is YouTube trying to play me now?
You do the damn thing, sis. Okay.
Yeah, let me see so I can show y'all. Yeah, this is my logo. And then like there's a shooting star, but it's shaped like a marijuana leaf. Yeah, so it's Outer Space Suites. And then hold on, where's the other picture? And then this is the
I like the shooting star with the weed at the end.
yeah. And
Yellow
then
and
like
purple.
I did her nails. Like she's got long nails.
Yeah, I can see it.
And then this is the lemonade flavored can of sugar.
Mm.
Where's the other one? Did it not? Are you really? Okay. And then here's my sour grape.
The joke was, I was gonna say to you, is it not to what's it called? It to ask for grape kind of sugar.
And then this is the blue Hawaiian raspberry. I didn't have pictures of the pink,
Mm.
but I already put that in the bowl. This is when I was drying it out. But yeah, like that's your girl, my my logo, because I wanted to be like space themed.
I like it. You know, I like
Yeah.
purple. I love her hair puffs and purple and
Yeah.
stuff.
And then it's got like a purplish tint to match.
Mm.
Like it took me forever.
And it was worth the wait, sis.
Yeah.
Okay. You go, girl. I'm so proud.
Thank you.
Clandestine doing the damn thing. Now, okay. This is the thing. I don't get jealous of many things, but weed, travel, okay, what's the other one? There's usually three. Okay, now I'm jealous.
Yeah, like that's why I hadn't been on here in a while because like I've been doing like my entrepreneurial thing, and you guys like like it took me so long to get my recipes just right, like in figuring out like making my tinctures and the potency. It's just been like it was a lot of trial and error, but
Listen,
now,
there's nothing wrong with that. You got a
but now,
process to get through. You're on your entrepreneurial thing. You're living life. Okay, that's what
like
you're supposed to do.
when I was first making my can of sugar, like it wasn't as potent. But now, like my sugar is like a radioactive green. Like it's so potent. It was a lot of trial and error. Like in the beginning, I wasted a lot of marijuana. I mean, I had like the sugar is still good. It's just not like you have to use a lot more of it. But now, like I've gotten the concentration just right, so I know how to like get my sugar like it's ganja green. And I've been watching videos because I'm thinking about trying to do like a small home grow just to see if I can do it. If I can do it, oh baby, my mom and dad was like, "So you really selling marijuana?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, if I can make this work for me, I'm gonna quit my job.
Girl,
And I told myself if I can make, I've got a goal that I want to hit in 6 months, and if I can make it in 6 months, I quit my job
you go, girl. Okay.
and just like fully focus on this because I figured out I know how to make. I would like to be able to make like canna, like sort of have like a widespread canna confectionery, and because I can make canna milk, canna butter, I can make canna oil, I can make canna flour, I can make can of sugar. My last thing to figure out is how to make a can of syrup so I can make like popsicles or like a shaved ice this summer. Cause I done already looked at like buying one of those like push carts and you bought a block of
Oh
ice.
my gosh.
And
Oh my
just be, like out
gosh.
on a street corner in the
Shaved
summertime,
ice,
shaved
snow
ice with like
cones.
a cannabis syrup.
Oh, Caribbean. Oh, pina colada, snow cones with cannabis syrup. Oh my gosh. I'm so jealous right now. I'm so
Like
jealous.
that's what I'm gonna be working on this summer is like perfecting a can of syrup.
That sounds so good. Mm.
It's
See,
like
you
the
got my
little
stomach
cart,
talking to me over here.
like the little cart, like if you live in New York City, use the little push cart that like the snow cone man when you have the block of ice to shave. Like I looked on online, them carts is only like $150. I just have to figure out where I buy that block of ice from. Like I don't know where I would actually buy. Like I don't know if people are making their own blocks of ice that big, or if like they're buying them cut blocks of ice. I'd have to look into that. But if you see me on a street corner in New York City selling ice cones, holla at your girl. Like I would like to
That
I
would be
want to
so
try and
cool.
have it I would like to try and have it perfected before, what is it, the Electric Zoo, so I could go out there at the music festival and
That would be
sell snow cones during the music festival.
that would be so cool. Like a few of you going out there, rollerblading outfits or space outfits, little cute outfits, and just delivering people with their like little snow cones on trays and shit.
Yeah. Like I've still been trying to hear back from the people at Curl Fest because like I want to have a booth at Curl Fest,
Mm.
and like I've emailed them several times and they just haven't gotten back to me. I don't know if I it was too late because I couldn't really find the deadline. Hold on, y'all. This is my food.
No problem. I'm sitting here thinking about snow cones, okay, and all kinds of flavors. Mango flavor, lemon flavor, raspberry swirl flavor, pineapple flavor. I had did it already.
I know, right? Like so many types of snow cones.
Mm.
Like there's a black man online who has a lot of great like weed recipes. Like I think he owns a dispensary out in New Mexico. Like I've been watching his videos on like how to grow, him and this white dude. And then he also has like this video on canna syrup. So I'm gonna try my hand at it. It's just like making like because I've tried to make canna lollipops. Like I it's just it's labor intensive, and then like the syrup just gets so hot. Like it's just last time I burnt my finger doing it, I was just like, oh God. Because you gotta get the syrup to like you gotta get the concoction to like 300 degrees, and then you have to pour it really quickly, and it's just like, oh, it was a lot. And then I just got it everywhere, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do this again, but I'm gonna try it again. Hey, Moonflower. But my mom wants me to make her some balm. That's what I'm gonna try to make next. Is like a THC or a CBD body balm, because like THC body balm is kind of like a waste because your
Mm.
body doesn't absorb THC through your skin.
Because you've got the background and knowledge, what's the best way?
Like the like if you could make like if you could get the THC into like you'd have to make them the molecule a lot smaller and then maybe make it into a serum. But even still, like you wouldn't absorb enough through your epidermis to get high off of. The best way, like I find, like if you don't want to smoke, because like lighting marijuana on fire like opens you up to cancer. No matter what anyone says, like combustion is cancer. I find that the best way to consume marijuana is either an edible or like a tincture, or but tincture kind of burns like because it's Everclear, and so you can put it into MCT oil, and you could also do it like a tincture underneath your tongue with MTC oil, and it's going to absorb a lot quicker. But when you're doing it that way in that form, you have to do a bit more of it because the high wears off pretty quickly versus like when you inhale and it crosses over into the bloodstream. It's a different like absorption rate. And I feel like with tincture, like you can control how much marijuana you're actually consuming versus smoking. I mean, yeah, you know how many grams you're smoking, but like with the tincture, you can get it down to like milligrams. Like I know exactly how many milligrams I need to get like a nice, just to be nice. Whereas like smoking a blunt, like I feel like I get the high is a bit different. It's more intense. Where a tincture is just kind of like washes over you, where you're not like completely smacked versus like smoking a joint.
I suppose that makes sense with the way that the tincture would enter your bloodstream in comparison to the smoke from a blunt.
Yeah, because like you're inhaling it and smoke is crossing over into your bloodstream, and then that smoke is also going directly to your brain. So it's much more intense smoking marijuana. And also for the people who do take edibles, like I tell everyone, like stay away from that D9. Like do not mess with that D9. Like yes, it's more potent. The high is a bit more intense, but like that stuff can cause psychosis. Like it's a modified version of the cannabinoid. And like people getting high and jumping off buildings.
Yeah, there's all sorts of craziness going on in it with that one and the other one where it eats your flesh and stuff when you get addicted.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, because I think like D9 makes a lot of stuff. Like D9 makes vapes, that Delta. Um, I even think they make their own hash, and it's like it's super potent. And I think I told that story. Like I smoked some. I didn't know like D9. I had smoked like a Stenzi, and I didn't know that Stenzi uses D9. And y'all, like I felt paralyzed. Like if I could have been able to call 911, I would have called 911. And I was like, oh no. And then I immediately was like reading up on Stenzi, and I found out that they use D9, which is like a genetically modified cannabinoid, where they isolate like the psychoactive nature of THC, and they intensify it by adding a molecule to it.
What?
Yeah, it's like it's
next hybrid level that is.
Yeah, it's like some real hybrid stuff. Like when I smoked that Senzi, I was like, I was laid in the bed because I was like, I like to smoke and then go to sleep because I have insomnia sometimes. And I'm laying there, and it was just like my body just went limp. And I was just laying there crying because I could not move. And I was like, oh my God, did they lace this? Was this something? And then in the morning, I went up and I read the bottle, and it was D9. And then I was like, let me look this up because regular marijuana is D8. And so I fell down a rabbit hole and was like, wow, okay, yeah, this is going in the trash. But it's been linked to like psychosis, people, and in some instances they say like people have smoked D9 and it's mimicked like PCP.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
And like I watched a video on cops one time, and I saw a man high on PCP bite through a truck window, like with his teeth. He bit through it. Like the
Mm.
police shot him 3 times and he did not die.
What?
Yes. He was that adrenaline and the PCP had him like the police couldn't get him. They shot him 3 times in the chest. Man's got up
Mm.
and was still going with it. He did apparently he didn't die.
What?
That it was it was that PCP kept him alive.
Coursing through his veins like adrenaline. Yeah, people need to be careful with that PCP type stuff. I remember when there was a spate of deaths here back in like the early 2000s with teenagers and young adults with that speed and ecstasy.
It's a lot of new drugs out here now. There's some stuff eating through people's faces.
But I'm just like, I get that people want to try new things, but it's like the extreme levels, and then it's like, once you get to those extreme levels, where do you take it next? Where is it gonna go? When's gonna be enough? Like, what happened to the whole enjoyment of? I don't know. Maybe I've just got a different mindset when it comes to connoisseurship and enjoying something for what it is and experiencing that the high, like in terms of like the sativa and the indica and weed and things like that, like all these extreme hybrids and all where it's going to, I'm not interested in any of that. Do you get what I mean? Like I see like some of the weeds out there like almost like wines in terms of like the fusions and what soils it's been grown in, the taste and the texture and how it opens up the brain or the mind, or the different things that can happen in having those kind of experiences. But where people are trying to take it to next, no, y'all can keep that, because it's like y'all are trying to turn yourselves into some, like, I don't know, like zombie metamorphosized, like, why?
Yeah, or like I've never
What?
like I never understand people who like to do dabs, which is like concentrated marijuana. Like I've watched videos of people doing dabs and they'll hit the dab and then pass out. And it's like and then you have to smoke it with like one of those blowtorch lighters. So I'm just like it reminds me of like strong drugs too much. It looked like it's kind of like a crystallization of like terpenes. It's like a ball or like it's I think it's hard. I don't know if dabs
Ew.
are dabs like because I've never smoked a dab. I've only actually seen it in like YouTube videos.
Hmm.
So I don't know if it's like honey wax or if it's actually like a hard sort of thing. But I've I've never wanted to try any of that like honey wax, the crumbles, any of like the weed concentrates. Like the only thing is like, yeah, I might like a little keef here and there or like some hash. But I don't go no more exotic than that. Like and a lot of the weed is just
I suppose at this point, with everything that's been explored with weed at this point, I'm probably like old school. Oh no, do you get what I mean? It probably sounded like an old school grandma or something, but I'm cool with where I'm at. Yo, jumping off buildings and eating flesh and turning into weird ass zombies. No, I'm good. I'm good. Y'all can have that. That's not the kind of height I'm looking for. I'm good.
like I just want to smoke my weed and eat a loaf of bread.
Do you
Like,
get what I'm saying? Like, what is wrong with that? Just watch some music. Sorry, watch some music. Watch some TV or watch some music. Fall asleep to a nice film or something. Like, y'all are just too much with the jumping off buildings over weed, over hybrid weed. Really? Mm-mm. No, no, no. I'm good. Thank you. I don't need those kind of flying lessons. Mm-mm.
yeah, like they're doing a lot with marijuana. There's a lot of like scientific advances and crossbreeding.
Girl, at this point, if you're gonna make people jump off buildings, at least deal with the pains and aches and get that to a substantial amount. Like, really? You just want people first flying lessons, diving off buildings until eating themselves. Uh, but can't get the other side of the medicinal element right. Yeah, priorities a little bit after.
Yeah, it's I don't know,
Mm.
but hopefully the drug situation, like it's just gonna get worse, especially with the recession. Like people tend to do more drugs.
Mm. Depression, mental health, and other things go up. So, yeah, I feel you on that one.
Well, because like seeing people strung out in the subway is an everyday occurrence. And now it's now it's warm, so the crackheads and the meth heads, meth monsters gonna be out. They're gonna be out swaying on the corners.
from November, I remember there was a whole heap of, outside of the Diddy situation, there was like 2,500 cases with different music execs from at different levels of the music industry. And then, like, just after January, I think there was a number more, but it wasn't really highlighted. Diddy was more so at the forefront.
Hmm.
So it's like, was he? I know there was something to do with a political person in New York that was under investigation for
That's him.
assault.
That's
It's
him.
the
Like
same guy. Okay.
apparently he's had in his past um issues of sexual assault. But like black male leadership, like black mayors, governors, whatever, what have you, are being exposed left and right. Because there was another black mayor, like he just got ousted because I guess he was like stealing from the city. Like it's just a lot going on for them. And if you go to the comment section, it's just a bunch of non-black people talking about how they shouldn't be leaders anyway. That's sad. But yeah, like apparently Eric was it Eric Adams? I don't know if he essayed another cop, another female cop, or if he essayed like I think he actually might have essayed a coworker. And apparently I think she reported it before and nothing happened or something like that. I can't remember, but it was something along those lines. And I don't think that was his only person saying that they were assaulted by him. And of course the black community's response was like, why didn't she come out earlier? So it's just really disgusting. Mm. Well, you guys, I'm gonna get on off here because I wanna I wanna be fat and eat my food.
Girl, don't let us come between you and the food. Have a bite for me. Enjoy. Talk to you on the back end, sis. I gotta roll out of here, but it's
All right.
always a pleasure. Love you, sis. Take care. Bye,
Good night,
ladies in the chat.
ladies. Hopefully, I don't think the music was too loud, so they might not. But if they do, I'll put it on private. And if anyone wants to watch the stream and listen, you could just email me at the Dusty Love Connection, and I'll send you the link so that you could watch the earlier part of the stream if it does get striked for the music in the background. Good night, ladies. I may have some content up soon. I've got a lot of stuff going on, so I'm not going to make any promises, but I'm going to try. And thank you to everyone who tuned in and still supporting your girl. Good night, ladies. Enjoy yourself.